Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it wasn't that long ago that we saw each other. Yesterday, we had a long and very exciting day of baseball. The playoffs have begun, finally, for the Haar Disciples and the Paderborn Untouchables. And yesterday was a split in games 1 and 2. The Disciples winning the first game by a score of 9-6, and then Paderborn eking out a very exciting 4-2 victory in game 2, thanks to some late inning heroics of Chris Byers. First, he threw out a runner at home plate for the would-be go-ahead run, and then in the bottom of the 8th inning, he launched a 2-run home run that was the deciding hit. Right now, the final preparations before the game are taking place, and the home plate meeting between the coaches and the umpires is taking place. And we are getting ready for Game 3. My name's Tim Collins. I'm happy to be with you here. Sunday afternoon, July the 24th. It is exactly 1 p.m. It's another perfect day weather-wise for baseball. And a little bit of a breeze. Yesterday, the wind was blowing out. Today, the breeze appears to be blowing in from right field towards left. And we will see what shall transpire here in Game 3. Now, yesterday, the two games were home games for Paderborn. And today, it will be a home game for the Disciples. This, of course, if you missed it, is due to the COVID outbreak last week in Paderborn that forced the cancellation of the two games. And the teams did not want to alter their travel plans, so the first two games of the series, which were scheduled to be home games for Paderborn, were actually played here in Haar. And as I mentioned at the top, it was a split for both teams. So we are getting ready, Game 2. And for the Disciples, they are going to go with their young pitcher, Daniel Wolf. Daniel Wolf only pitched in 3 innings in the first Bundesliga this year. He's gotten a couple of sniffs of the first league going back several years. And he pitched 3 innings, but he did so against a very tough opponent, the Heidenheim Heideköpfe. In those 3 innings, he pitched 3 innings, allowed 3 runs on 3 hits, and I think that was a game the Disciples actually won, if I remember correctly. And so he will get the start here in a playoff game against the Paderborn Untouchables, who are going to counter with their own youngster, Florian Seidel. Seidel will get the nod for Jendrik Speer and Octavio Medina's Paderborn Untouchables. Right now, we're having the introduction of the lineup, so I'll turn it over to Richard Posguy, our stadium announcer.
Batting for Cleanup Hitter wird sein mit der 5, Daniel Hinz, First Base. Batting Fifth wird sein die Nummer 31, Chris Byers, Shortstop. Batting 6, die Nummer 39, Björn Reinhardt, Centerfield. Batting 7, die Nummer 2, Luca Rammelmann, Right Field. Batting 8, die Nummer 29, Ian Eberhardt, Left Field. Batting 1, die 26, Ladislaus Landwehr, Steady Age. Starting Pitcher wird sein für die Paderborn Untouchables, Florian Seidel. Auf der Bank, Bitte 30, Robert Toastbrot Blesing. Bitte 10, Patrick Harrison. Bitte 12, Benjamin Taki. Mitte 47, Stefan Dembowski. Mitte 23, Mark Harrison. Mitte 44, Luca Kloppenburg. Mitte 35, Niklas Göbert. Und die 15, The Legend, Matt Kemp. Und dann kommen wir auch zur Aufstellung der München-Haar Disciples. Batting first wird sein unser Third Baseman mit der 10, Nathan Thomas. Batting second, unser Captain, der Catcher, mit der 34, Will Ford. Batting third, die Nummer 16, Left Fielder, Drew Thomas, nicht verwandt, nicht verschwägert mit Nate. Batting fourth, die Nummer 30, Daniel Patrice. Batting fifth, die Nummer 18, David Dinsky, Centerfield. Batting 6, die 26, Caleb Murphy, Second Base. Batting 7, die 32, Enzo Muschig, der DH. Batting 8, die 44, Francisco Riestra, Shortstop. Batting 9, G.I. Joe Rosenthal, Right Field. Starting Pitcher wird sein mit der Nummer 49, Daniel Wolf. Auf der Bank des Weiteren Titus von Kapp, Adriano Penskofer, David Wallace, Nils Schmidt, Boomer Saunders, Simon Lechner, Konsta Kurika, Lukas Steinlein, Daniel Jager, Sean Cohen, Zach Trees und Jan Endrea.
So we are about ready to begin the game. You just heard the lineups given to you by Richard Posguy, the stadium announcer. And the Disciples are huddled along the third base dugout, getting ready to take the field. It's about 4 minutes past 1 with the pregame ceremonies. We had a couple of ceremonial first pitches. 2 members of the national cricket team of Germany, and plus the social media star, whose name was Jean. I forgot to the rest of his name, but you know, we can find out about that on Instagram. I'm sure the Disciples are taking the field. This series is tied at 1 game apiece, and the Disciples now get to play their first home game. And I should mention that, you know, during the course of yesterday's game, there were some moments that showed evidence of, well, let's put it this way, a lack of love that would be lost between these two teams. And just then you saw the lineups being announced. Paderborn lining up the first base line. The Disciples did not come out. And you could see the coaches for Paderborn looking sternly in the direction of the Haar Disciples dugout. That seemed to be a clear vibe to be sent. So we will see what that means for the result of this game, or for the goings-on that take place therein. Meanwhile, the right-hander throwing his warm-up pitches on the mound, that's Daniel Wolf. You see him, number 49. He mostly pitched for the second team in the Bundesliga this year. He will be backed up defensively by Nate Sean Thomas at third, Francisco Riestra at short, Callum Murphy at second, Daniel Patrice at first. Drew Thomas is in left, David Dinsky is in center, and Joe Rosenthal is in right. Will Thorpe is catching today, and so basically the defensive alignment is identical to what it was for Game 2 yesterday. The lineup for Paderborn begins with Maurice Bendrian, the catcher, leading off. Vildrik Llewellyn, the second baseman, will bat second. Finn Bergman, the third baseman, bats third. Daniel Hintz, the first baseman, bats cleanup. Chris Byers, the hero in the nightcap of yesterday's game, the shortstop, he will bat fifth. Bjarne Reinhardt, the center fielder, will bat sixth. Luca Rammelman in right field will bat seventh. Ian Eberhardt, the left fielder, will bat eighth. And Ladislaus Landwehr, the designated hitter, will bat ninth like he did yesterday. Like I mentioned, Florian Seidel, the young right-hander on the mound for the Untouchables, will take the bump in the bottom half of the first inning. And we are almost ready to begin as Wolf is throwing his final warm-up pitches. Maurice Bendrian will step up to the plate. Yesterday in Game 2, he had 2 hits plus a walk, reached on a fielder's choice. He was actually on base all 4 plate appearances. And in the first game, he was also on base 4 out of 5 times. So he's been on base 8 out of 9 offensively, and he's also thrown 3 base runners out of the game, at second base, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. And so we are ready to begin. And the cat calling begins from the Paderborn dugout. So Maurice Bendrian against Daniel Wolf. First pitch coming at 1:08 p.m. Wolf from the stretch deals, and the fastball is high. Jens Weider calling balls and strikes. Ilya Arcand down the right field line, and Alex Hartl down the left field line. 3-man crew here in the Bundesliga. A few years ago, there used to only be a 2-man crew. 1-0 the count to Bendrian, and it's high 2-0. Wolf behind 2-0. The pitch, that one is in there on the corner for a strike, 2-1. Bendrian, I think, was taking all the way, making sure that Daniel could throw a strike. Top of the first inning, Bendrian steps out, takes his time. Two and one. Here it comes. Strike 2, top of the zone, even count, 2-2. So far, Wolf has thrown nothing but fastballs. Two and two. Here comes the pitch. Curveball. Bendrian made zero effort to get out of the way of that, but that's, as I mentioned yesterday when it happened earlier in the game, that's pretty much what baseball players do. They stand there and get hit. I mean, that's as obvious as it could be. Hit with a breaking ball. But I'd be very curious when I'm going to see an umpire actually call that, because you never see it. So Bendrian is at first base. He's been on base now 9 out of 10 times, if my math is correct. And the hitter is Fildrik Llewellyn. And the pitch is fouled away, strike one. Llewellyn yesterday did not have a lot of hits. I think he was 1 for 4 in game 2, and he was 0 for 4 with a walk in game 1. But he did drive the ball with authority a couple of times deep to the outfield. So I wouldn't say he was looking bad at the plate in any respect. 0-1 the count to him. Bendrian not going. The pitch is a strike at the knees on the outside corner, 0-2. Here comes the 0-2. Just missed the outside corner. Looked like maybe a little cutter. And they got 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bendrian off first. The infield, Nate Thomas is guarding the line at third. The shortstop Riestra is a normal position, maybe 1 step to his left. Murphy on the right side, shading up the middle, and of course Patrice holding Bendrian on. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and there's a check on Bendrian. One and 2. And the pitch. Struck him out swinging. There's the first out. High fastball. Llewellyn goes chasing. And there's 1 away. Let's take another look at that on the replay as Finn Bergman will step up to the plate. And the center field camera a little bit off center. Maybe I'll go fix that at some point. My apologies. But at least you can see everything. Bergman yesterday was all over the baseball. Even in game 2, he went 0 for 4, but it seemed like he came close to homering every time. He did homer twice in game 1, and the pitch is outside. In the first game, he was 3 for 5 with 2 homers and a double. And none of them were cheapies. 1 ball, no strikes to him, and the pitch. There's a strike on the outside corner. Well, the main thing from Daniel Wolf that you want to see is strikes, as is always the case with a young pitcher, especially one who's less experienced. He's been dipping his toes into the fire gradually over the past couple of years. Here's the 1-1, and that one hit him squarely in the back. That was a fastball that got away. And so 2 on. And Daniel Hintz will step up to the plate now. Well, that's a little bit like what Gerbert was doing yesterday. Gerbert would sometimes make good pitches and then would also show flashes of wildness. So Wolf that time maybe overthrew that one a bit. And he hit Bergman squarely in the back. So 1 hit by a pitch on a breaking ball that did not break, and this one was a fastball. And Daniel Hintz steps up to the plate. Hintz got the save in the nightcap yesterday. He had not pitched in the game all year, and he came on and pitched a scoreless 9th inning in a huge spot for Paderborn. And the 35-year-old with power at the plate. Here's the pitch to him. Swinging a foul to the screen, strike 1. At the plate yesterday in game 2, he was 1 for 4. In game 1, he was 0 for 3 with 2 walks. So 1 hit yesterday. He's got ducks on the pond here, Bendrian and Bergman. 1 strike the count. Top of the first inning, no score. Wolf would just love to get an out here. Maybe relax a little bit, get those butterflies out. And Riestra running in behind Bendrian. Oh and 1 on Daniel Hintz. And the breaking ball missed badly. 1 ball and 1 strike. Another nice crowd filing in today. The weather similar to yesterday, although today there's supposedly not a threat of rain. Yesterday there was a threat of rain all day and it never came. Today I hope that it remains that way. 1-1 on Hintz. The pitch just missed low and away. Maybe that was a changeup. Hintz did not chase and the count 2-1. So now Hintz can really zero in on something here to try to hit. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Runners leading first and second with 1 out. And that's outside, ball 3. Byers on deck. Popped up off the end of the bat into no man's land in shallow right, chased by Murphy, and he dives. He cannot quite make the catch. It's a foul ball. They would have been able to get a force at second base had it been fair, but Murphy with an excellent effort. It was being chased by Patrice and Rosenthal, but Murphy had the best angle to get there, and he nearly got there. Would have been a very nice catch, but instead it's just a foul ball, and the count is full. 3-2. You wonder if maybe Paderborn will send the runners. Third base coach Octavio Medina giving the signs down there. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Daniel Hintz. Outfield is straight away and deep for him. His double that he hit last night was absolutely crushed to dead center field. So here's the payoff from Daniel Wolf. Outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So 2 hit batters and a walk. And Chris Byers will get a chance to hit with the bases loaded and 1 out. So Daniel Wolf in a jam here. Right away, Wolf is walking the tightrope. Now, yesterday, both teams did relatively well in terms of not having to use up their bullpens because having 3 games in 2 days is unusual for the Bundesliga. As Byers steps up, bases loaded, and the pitch popped up again to that same spot. Murphy and Patrice. This time Murphy has a much easier beat on it. No, Patrice makes the catch. Bendrian's trying to score, and the throw is not in time. It gets away. And now around third, heading up another base are both of the trail runners. Maurice Bendrian tagging up and scoring on a foul fly ball to Daniel Patrice. That's heads up base running. And Patrice, a split second too late with the throw home. It also bounced past Thorpe. And Paderborn takes the 1-0 lead. You know, the funny thing is if that had been a fair ball, it would have been probably an infield fly, although it was not an easy effort. And you see Bendrian, who was tagging up. That's a wise decision. And so Paderborn leads 1-0, and Byers is going to get a sac fly out of that. Sac fly to the first baseman. How about that? Give him a run batted in. So instead of a pop out, it's a sac fly. Both runners moved up on the play. So Bergman at third, Hintz is at second, and now Reinhardt at the plate. Swings and misses at a high fastball, 0-1. The Disciples, of course, are happy to get the out, and so is Daniel Wolf. 0-1 to Reinhardt. Here it comes. Line drive, right center field. Rosenthal is there, and he makes the catch. So it's the base running of Bendrian that scores Paderborn a run. They get 1 run, no hits, no errors, 2 left on. At the end of a half inning of play, Paderborn 1, Haar coming to bat. This is the 2022 Bundesliga quarterfinal, brought to you by the good people of the Brauerei Wildbräu. As we go to the bottom of the first inning, Paderborn with a 1-0 lead. The left-hander on the mound is the 23-year-old Florian Seidel. And you see he's got a funky delivery, very funky. James Brown funky. Comes from the left side. He sort of short arms the ball and flings it up there. I imagine for lefties it would be tough to hit. But for the Disciples, they only have one left-handed hitter, and he's not in the lineup. That's Simon Lechner. Everybody else is going to bat right-handed. It's an all right-handed lineup against Seidel, who in 34 2/3 innings in the Bundesliga North had a 3.38 ERA, record of 2 wins and no losses. He gave up 38 hits in those 34-plus innings, 13 earned runs, 11 walks, and 33 strikeouts. And that's pretty similar to the other statistics that you will see from the Paderborn pitchers. Try to keep the walks low. Give up, a normal number of hits. Nothing really jumps off the page at you. But he's certainly going to give the Disciples an unusual look with that odd delivery that he's got. I think they have seen him before. I'm pretty sure he pitched back in 2017 as well. And so Nate Thomas will start things off. The rest of the lineup, Thomas, Thorpe, and then Drew Thomas, 1, 2, 3. Patrice, Dinsky, and Murphy, 4, 5, 6. Enzo Mushik, the DH, is batting 7th. And then Riestra and Rosenthal, 8th and 9th. Defensively, I already mentioned for the Paderborn Untouchables, they have the exact same defensive lineup that they had yesterday with Bergman, Byers, Llewellyn, and Hintz around the infield, Eberhard, Reinhardt, and Rommelmann in the outfield, and behind the plate, Bendrian. So we are ready for the bottom of the first. And the pitch misses low and outside to Nate Thomas, the switch hitter batting from the right side. 1-0. And the lefty Seidel's next one, outside 2-0. Thomas, in game 2 yesterday, singled, walked, and reached on an error. He actually walked twice. In game 1, he had a triple among a couple of walks and also scored that run after reaching on a strikeout. So he's been all over the base paths. There's a strike from Seidel. Now the count 2-1. Don't forget, folks, you can chat with me in the live chat on the YouTube page. You just have to be logged into your account. If you have any questions for me, anything you'd like me to know, maybe I get something wrong, which is definitely something that happens. 2-1. The pitch is a strike, 2-2. Seidel going with the high black socks, the knee-high socks. Byers and Llewellyn doing the same thing, but with green. There's the 2-2. Strike 3, a little backdoor slider. And Nate Thomas is out number 1. Let's take another look at that on the replay as Will Thorpe steps up to the plate. Little backdoor job. And so Thorpe steps up to the plate. Thorpe had the double in the 8th inning that led to really the turning point of the game. That was a double that looked like it was going to score Dinsky for the go-ahead run. And Eberhard, combined with Byers, threw out Dinsky by the blink of an eye at home plate. And that snuffed the Disciples' rally. But he did hit that ball very hard. Now he squares the bunt and takes a pitch low. 1 ball and no strikes. And that is the center fielder, Bjarne Reinhardt, number 39. Getting a good look at him. We'll go to the back camera. Let's see. Did he move? Kinda. 1-0 to Thorpe. And there's a strike. 1-1. I'll keep an eye on center field and see if Reinhardt moves over for you. 1-1 to Thorpe. Here comes Seidel's next pitch. Inside. 2-1. Seidel, looking at his game logs, normally pitches around 3 or 4 innings. He did go beyond that 5 times of his 10-plus starts. Here's the pitch. That's wrapped foul. Even count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Let's check on the center field camera. Hey, look at that, clear view. Nope, not quite. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Seidel to Will Thorpe. And the 23-year-old lefty turned 23 back in May. Little stop-start motion, and the pitch is outside. 3-2. Yesterday, they had played Thorpe actually to hit the ball to the opposite field. But now, as you can see, Reinhardt in center field is shaded more towards left center. Thorpe steps out of the box. Three and two. And here comes the delivery. Check swing, high, ball 4. And no swing, says the first base umpire. So Thorpe is aboard. And that will bring up Drew Thomas. Paderborn with a run in the first inning. The bases were loaded, and Daniel Hintz hit a foul pop-up down the right field line that was caught by Patrice as he was running away from the infield, and Maurice Bendrian scored, tagging up on the play. Now Reinhardt is directly in your view, so I'm going to have to move that over. Here, let's do it this way. We'll zoom in a little bit so you get to see at least something. Drew Thomas, rather, at the plate, and the pitch. There's a strike to him. Oh, and 1. Thorpe off first, just one away. Thorpe not a big lead at all, and he's in fact going back with the delivery as the pitch is swung on and missed. Seidel looks like he throws what's sometimes referred to as a dead fish changeup. It's just slow, slower, and slowest. It's like Tommy John style back in the day. He's ahead of Thomas 0-2. This is the type of pitcher you got to try to go opposite field against. There's a big hole in the right side of the infield if Thomas wants to do that. Instead, he grounds it to the left side and through the hole for a base hit. Thorpe will take a big turn and hold on at second base. And so the Disciples have 2 on for Daniel Patrice.
So, Drew Thomas hier mit diesem schönen base hit.
As you take another look at that, an 0-2 pitch, and this one was inside where Thomas could get to it, and he just grounded it through that hole. And so Patrice will step up to the plate. Reinhardt still blocking our view from center field, so note to self, put the center field camera somewhere else. So Daniel Patrice steps up to the plate. Tying run at second base, that's Will Thorpe. Go ahead run at first. We're only in the bottom of the first inning, of course. Seidel a long time getting the signs, and now Patrice hits one up the middle, hits the ground, fielded by the second baseman Llewellyn, steps on the bag and throws to first in time for a 4-3 double play. Patrice hit it hard, but hit it right at Llewellyn. So the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. We have completed 1 inning here in Haar. Paderborn 1, Haar nothing. This is the 2022 Bundesliga quarterfinal, brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. We go to the top of the second inning, 1-0 Paderborn, as they scored a run in the top of the first inning on a sac fly off the bat of Chris Byers, and they will send 7, 8, 9 to the plate. Luca Rammelmann, Ian Eberhardt, and Ladislaus Landwehr against Daniel Wolf, who had to throw 22 pitches in the top of the first. And the first pitch to Rammelmann is fouled away for strike one. The sun comes out, and now it's suddenly very bright on the field. And I imagine the temperature also went up about 5 degrees. The sun has been blazing hot lately. The next one, up high, 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1. Curve, that one drops in beautifully on the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'd like to give a shout out to Carl watching. Carl, nice of you to join us. Breaking ball tapped back to Wolf. It hits his glove, but he has time to pick it up and throw to first to get Rammelmann 1 away. That'll bring up Ian Eberhardt. Also, schöne Grüße an Rochen 66, or Rochen 66. Greetings from Berlin. Yeah, Berlin. I like Berlin. Berlin's a cool city. Haven't been there in 5, 6 years, I think. Ian Eberhardt will step up to the plate. Eberhardt, offensively yesterday, was 0 for 4 in game 2 and 0 for 2 in game 1. And the pitch is high and outside to him. 1 ball, no strikes. A lot of the same faces at the ballpark today that we saw yesterday as the foul ball comes back this way, 1-1. That's a nice thing. I think the crowd is maybe even bigger today than it was yesterday. But all year this year for sure has been the best attended Disciples season that I can remember, going back since 2014. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ian Eberhardt. Fouled away, 1-2. You know, it would always be that we'd have 1 or 2 days packed like this, but I got to say, every home game has been pretty full. At least 100, sometimes 200 people. I'm going to guess it's 150 or so today, at least right now. And it's absolutely gorgeous weather. Here's the 1-2. Just a little bit high. Eberhardt was fooled on the pitch and was lucky that it was called a ball. And the unofficial Berlin Sluggers, hello. Nice to see you in the chat. The breaking ball is swung on and missed. That is the second strikeout for Wolf and the second out here in the second inning. So Wolf retiring the first 2. That pitch had some nice movement to it. Still probably not the preferred location. You'd probably rather see it go down a bit and down and away, but you got the desired result. Ladislaus Landwehr steps up to the plate. Landwehr yesterday in game 2 had 1 hit in 4 at-bats. Excuse me, that was game 1, and he was also 1 for 4 in game 2. Pitches a ball to him. He's the number 9 hitter in the order. The center field camera appears to be tipping upwards. There may come a point where I have to go out there and fix it, so you're going to have to watch the game without commentary for a moment. Pitch is low, 2-0. The next one coming, swung on and missed, 2-1. Yeah, the center field camera is tipping backwards. I got to go change that probably after this at bat. And that one is off the glove of Thorpe. 3 balls and 1 strike to count. The 3-1 pitch coming to Landwehr, and he walked him. So the top of the order now, Maurice Bendrian. Bendrian was hit by a pitch in the first inning and then scored by tagging up on a pop-up that was in foul territory down the right field line, caught by the first baseman Daniel Patrice, who had his back to the infield. And so that was heads-up base running. There's a check on the runner at first. Oops, wrong camera. That's the camera I'm looking for. And Landwehr dove back. Landwehr did not attempt a stolen base at all this year. And the pitch hit in the air to left field. Drew Thomas has got it measured. Looking into the sun, he makes the catch, and the inning is over. Folks, I'm going to go out to left field and fix the center field camera. So what I'm going to do for you is leave the view on this wide shot, and you guys in the chat can keep track of what's going on, and I'll come back in about as quickly as I can to get back on the play-by-play. But I'm going to fix that center field camera angle. I'll be back in a moment.
Sonnenbrand oder sowas ein. Auch die Tätowierten bitte schön einschmieren. Ja, ja. Also, schmiert eure Kinder ein. Mit, nicht anschmieren, einschmieren mit Sonnenschutzfaktor 3000. Und denkt dran, viel trinken heute, ja, es ist warm. Weiter geht's bei uns im wunderschönen Ballpark hier in Haar. Mit der Nummer 18, unser Centerfielder. Fetten Applaus für David Dinski. Base hit up the middle von David Dinski. Ja, so sieht's aus.
All right, I'm back. Did you miss me? Okay. All right, I have to catch my breath. Yes, you saw a man running behind the fence. That was me. I'm too old for this. Okay, but the center field view looks way better now, doesn't it? So, Dinsky got a base hit, I believe, right? Am I correct? Was that a base hit by Dinsky? And then Murphy lined out, and Dinsky was nearly doubled off, but was not. And so now the hitter is Enzo Mušik. Mušik did not play yesterday, and he swings and fouls away the first pitch. Mušik in the regular season batted .212, 7 hits, 33 at-bats. He got limited playing time, former Legionnaire. Yeah, out of breath. Yes. Anyway. I'd rather do that in the second inning than in the ninth with a game tied and, you know, bases loaded and a 3-2 count, stuff like that. So that's why I did it now. Meanwhile, Florian Seidel has this habit of jiggling the ball in his hand. If he drops it with a runner on base, that would be a balk. Right there, he disengaged the rubber with his left foot. Dinsky on first. We got a lefty and a good throwing catcher. And he was caught stealing yesterday, was Dinsky, but you know he wants revenge. He takes it personally when he gets caught stealing, I believe. The count is 0-1 on Enzo Mušik, as Florian Seidel has his sign from Maurice Bendrian. Is Dinsky going to go on first move? He's not going there, and that one catches the outside corner, 0-2. As Seidel does not throw hard, but he throws strange, which is something that can get you a lot of success in this league. He's got an oddball delivery, and his ball does have movement. And if you can paint the corners, you can pitch a long time. And the next one, that's outside. Especially if you throw from the side like that, and he heights the ball well. So, you know, it's kind of the complete opposite to yesterday with Mark Harrison, who has these extreme long arms, but you could see the ball and the type of grip that he has well before he releases the ball. And with Seidel, it's basically the opposite. You don't see the ball at all until it's probably like 3 feet out of his hand. And the 1-2 pitch. Dinsky is not going, and that's outside, 2-2. After Mušik, it'll be Riestra in this part of the order. It started with Dinsky. That was 5, 6, and 7. So Mušik, the number 7 hitter, the DH. He's got a 2-2 count. And the pitch popped up, foul out of play, and we will do it again. So yeah, if you're wondering what that screaming is, it's screaming of joy. The kids are excited, I think, that they got the foul ball. So before you call the police and tell them there's a problem here at Disciples Ballpark, everything's fine. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and the pitch on the way. Popped up, this one is in shallow right field. Llewellyn and Rammelman coming in, makes the catch. That is out number 2, and we'll bring up Francisco Riestra. Riestra in yesterday's play, in game 2, he was 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored, and in game 1, he was 1 for 3 also with a single and a walk. So Riestra up there with 2 outs. Now with 2 outs, you might see Dinsky take off. although he has not had much of a read on Florian Seidel, who has a quick delivery to the plate, quiet motion, and the pitch is inside to Riestra, ball one. There's the pitch. That's upstairs and high. 2 balls and no strikes. Riestra, good hitters count. You expect he'll get something to put in play. Maybe Dinsky will take off here. You never know. You know Dinsky is itching to go, but you don't want to get caught, obviously. 2-0, he's not going. The pitch is in there for a strike. There's Dinsky taking his lead off first base. 2-1 to Riestra. And a sun-splashed field. Ground ball sharply hit to the shortstop Byers, and he boots it right to Llewellyn with his foot on the bag. And Dinsky almost collides with Byers. Boy, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. That was ticketed for an E6 all the way, and he accidentally swatted it right to his teammate, who stepped on the bag with the ball in his glove, and that's a 6-4 force. It'll look like a perfectly executed routine play in the scorebook, but it was anything but. So we will go to the third inning here in Haar with Paderborn leading 1-0. This is the 2022 Bundesliga quarterfinal between the Untouchables and the Disciples, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Moving to the top of the third inning here in Game 3. The series tied 1 game apiece. It's a best of 5, don't forget. Because of the split yesterday, we already know for a fact that these teams will play in Paderborn on Saturday. And Game 4 will be a home game, and Game 5, if it's needed, will be an away game for the Disciples, that is, regardless of where the games are played. And so now, Fildrik Llewellyn, Finn Bergman, and Daniel Hintz, 2, 3, and 4 for the second time through the lineup against Daniel Wolf. And the pitch, good breaking ball at the top of the zone. Llewellyn saying, okay, all right. Llewellyn struck out on a high fastball his first time. There's the 0-1. Beauty number 2 is in there. 0-2. 2 good curveballs from Daniel Wolf. Well, he tried it a third time, and he did the right thing. Put it in the dirt, see if he can get a chase. That's the thing. The hitter, if the hitter's thinking, all right, he comes back with the breaking ball, and you throw it on that plane that looks like a fastball at first, sometimes you can entice a swing. And then the opposite is true. You throw a high fastball, suddenly the hitter's like, whoa, uh-oh. Fly ball, well hit, right center field. Rosenthal drifting back. He's got room, shy of the track, and he puts it away for out number 1. And it was 4 consecutive breaking balls from Wolf to retire Llewellyn. That'll bring up Finn Bergman. Bergman. Sorry about that, folks. Finn Bergman will step up to the plate. Bergman was hit by a pitch his first time and made it to third base, but no further. And the pitch to Bergman is another curve. That's 5 consecutive in this inning, and they've all been good ones. So Daniel Wolf working on his curveball this inning, and you know, if that's a pitch that he can establish, he can throw strikes at any point in any count, well, suddenly you're looking at a Bundesliga pitcher. Bergman, did he offer the bunt at that? The appeal says no. Pitch was a fastball running way inside. I see your question, Rochen66, about the my the connoisseur and fancier of the game. If the Mets will extend their lead over the Braves, to be quite honest, I have not paid any attention to the Mets at all. I have no idea. I know they're in first place, right? Curveball, that's hammered high in the air, left field, foul ball, long run for Thomas, but it's out of play. Strike 2 on Bergman. I mean, as far as MLB goes this year, I've basically been following the Yankees, and that's kind of it. I've had a casual look at the other standings. I pay attention to, you know, things like Shohei Ohtani and whatnot, but the Mets, I'm aware that they are having a good season, but I have no further comment other than that. No idea, not a clue. So sorry. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball just missed the outside corner, 2-2. But it's a real lively atmosphere here. I gotta say, today's crowd is bigger than yesterday's crowd, I have to say, and it's also with a lot of energy. There's a buzz here in the ballpark. 2-2 on Finn Bergman with 1 away. Fouled away. He threw the fastball after a heavy succession of breaking balls. The count still 2-2. The center field camera still seems to be angling upwards. If you're unable to see the batter's feet in about 5 minutes, you might see that same crazy person running out beyond the outfield fence again. Here's the pitch, fouled away again to the right. I think it might be the wind that is affecting the angle of the camera. It's on a special stand so that I can get it as close to the fence as possible, and sometimes it blows in the wind or sags. Anyway, 2-2 on Finn Bergman, dangerous hitter in the lineup. The pitch, curveball hit in the air deep to left field down the line. Is it fair? That's the question. It's out of the ballpark, but it's foul. So the count still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boy, they're coming out of the woodwork here. We got former players and their families here in the ballpark in Haar, just willing to root the team on. Daniel Wolf, the young pitcher, I remember when he was playing on the youth team, doesn't seem like too long ago, and here he is starting Game 3 of the Bundesliga playoffs. And the pitch to him, Bergman, ripped foul again. That was a fastball in his hands. There's absolutely nothing Bergman can do with that pitch other than yank it foul. It's so far inside, there's no way to hit that ball fair with any sort of authority. So up in his kitchen, as we like to say. 2-2 to Bergman, and here it comes. Just missed outside, full count. Good battle between Wolf and Bergman. Daniel Hintz, the cleanup hitter, is on deck. 1-0 Paderborn, top of the third, Game 3. Series tied 1 game apiece. Wolf trying to work quickly here. Payoff pitch coming. Off the end of the bat to left field. That's playable for Drew Thomas if he can find it, which he does, and makes the catch. And Bergman looks extremely dejected to have lost that bat. He did not leave the batter's box. We've seen a couple broken bats that look like the players wanted to have funerals for their bats. That's how dejected they were about it. Bergman, look at him, doesn't even leave the box. Just puts his head down, takes 2 steps to the right, and then stares forlornly at the bat as it was on the ground. 2 down. I mean, I know. It's like a guitarist getting emotional about their favorite guitar, but you know, I guess you don't break guitars as often as you do baseball bats, unless you're Van Halen. Daniel Hintz, who walked with his first plate appearance, pops that one up, foul out of play, strike 1 off to the right. Yesterday there were a couple of broken bats. I can't remember who it was. It was either Eberhard or Rummelmann broke a bat and looked like instant dejection. Not ejection, dejection. Sorry if you misunderstood what I'm saying. 0-1 to Hintz. Strike called over the outside corner. And the count 0-2. And now the crowd, knowing that the count 0-2, looking for that third strike from Daniel Wolf. Wolf had a bit of a struggle in the first inning, gave up the run. It was a hustle run, but a run nonetheless. But had a quick second, trying to have a quick third. That one is yanked outside, 1-2. He started this inning by throwing, I think, 6 consecutive curveballs. And so now the plan would be to try to mix it in a little bit more randomly so that the Paderborn hitters can't sit on any one pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hintz with 2 down in the third. And Wolf is ready. Here it comes. Foul tipped in and out of the mitt of Thorpe. High fastball, and Hintz was just trying to flick at it to put it in play. So the count still 1-2 on Hintz. Wolf is set. Here it comes. Inside, that one almost tailed too far in and hit Hintz, but the count is now even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and two. Slowly hit ground ball to the left side. It is gloved by Thomas, who spins and throws, and his throw gets past Patrice. I think Hintz was safe anyway. Hintz, I think, had that one beat, so that's probably going to be a base hit. Throw was offline, but Hintz was pretty much on the bag anyway. And so it's an infield hit. That is the first hit for Paderborn in this game. It was slowly hit. It was actually unclear whether Thomas or Riestra had the ball, and then Thomas, after spinning, let go of it, but yanked it a little bit too far to the outfield side of first. And so Hintz is aboard with 2 outs, and now Chris Byers gets a chance. It was Byers who batted with the bases loaded and 1 out in the first inning and hit a foul pop down the right field line, caught with a nice grab by Daniel Patrice. But Patrice had his back to the infield, and Maurice Bendrian was able to tag and score from third. So Byers, instead of a pop-out, get a sac fly and an RBI. So Hintz now at first base. Byers at the plate. And the pitch is outside. Byers was stepping out like he expected something to come inside, and it was a breaking ball down and away. That was curious. And the next one just missed the corner, down and away, 2-0.
Auf geht's zu Daniel. Applaus für Daniel Wolf. Well done.
2-0, 2 down, top of the third, 1-0 Paderborn. That's outside. And the count 3-0. Bjarne Reinhardt is on deck. You can understand Wolf wanting to be careful with Byers, who, launched a long home run yesterday. But you're playing with fire, putting too many base runners on. 3-0, he probably green lights him. There's a strike called. Byers trying to buy a walk. Jens Weider not going to fall for it. Pitch just catching the outside corner. I mean, it is also a fact, and nobody really knows why it's a fact, but the strike zone everywhere in the world gets larger on a 3-0 count. That's just how it is. Line drive left field. Drew Thomas is right there to put it away, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 2.5, it is 1-0 Paderborn. This is Game 3 of the Bundesliga 2022 quarterfinals between the Untouchables and the Disciples, brought to you by the good people of the Brauerei Wildbräu. We get ready to go to the bottom of the third inning. Paderborn with a first inning run, and that's where we stand score-wise. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors for Paderborn. 0-2 and 1 for the Disciples.
G.I. Joe Rosenthal.
And it'll be Rosenthal, Nate Sean Thomas, and Will Thorpe. 9-1-2 against the loopy lefty Florian Seidel. Seidel has kept the Disciples off balance so far in the early going, has only allowed those 2 hits. And Rosenthal looking for his first hit of this series. He was on base a couple of times yesterday in the 2 games. And he lines it into left field. There's your first base hit for Rosenthal in the series. He takes the turn at first and holds on. First pitch swinging. First pitch base hit for Joe. And now the top of the order, Nate Sean Thomas will get his second look at Florian Seidel. Rosenthal, again, another one of the base stealers of the Disciples. You know, stealing bases is a big part of their game, and so far in this series, Paderborn has really been able to shut them down in that department. The Disciples made a lot of bases, a lot of outs on the bases, especially in Game 2 last night. That was due in part to the throwing of Maurice Bendrian, but also just generally defensively. Paderborn made some really good plays. So let's see if Rosenthal tries to do anything over at first base. He's got a very short lead right now. Nate Thomas struck out his first time and swings and misses at an off-speed pitch that was floating away in the count 0-1. Thomas has seen nothing but pitches off the plate away so far in this game. The only one that he saw was a little slider that came back for the called strike 3. Rosenthal extends his lead a little bit, but it's not large. And Thomas lays off a pitch that was too low, the count 1-1. Bergman is guarding the grass at third. Up the middle, they're looking for double play. You have 2 speedy base runners in Thomas and Rosenthal. 1-1 pitch. That missed low and inside, 2-1. And Thomas with a slow ground ball to Llewellyn. He steps on the bag and throws to first, and there's another double play. Well, that's the second one of that sort that Llewellyn has turned. It was a slowly hit ground ball right to the perfect spot. There have been a couple of those where it was the ball that was booted by Byers and deflected right to Llewellyn for a force out. So there's 2 away. And Will Thorpe will step up to the plate. Thorpe walked his first time. And we will see what happens his second look at Florian Seidel. Seidel very good, 36 pitches so far. Thorpe squares to bunt, looks at a curve, that's in there for a strike. Little slurve. That was pitch number 36. And Seidel, you know, looking at his pitch counts, most of his starts he was in the vicinity of like 50, 60, but I would think throwing as hard as he does, he could throw 150 pitches and it wouldn't really, he wouldn't feel it the next day. The pitch is outside, outside corner 0-2. Seidel is the type of guy that you can leave out there for a while. Obviously, as long as he's feeling okay. The 0-2, that's outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You know, in the major leagues, you see, you know, every pitch is absolute max effort from head to toe, plus the grunt. And Seidel is kind of a throwback to the prior age where pitching was more of an art form and less of a heavyweight knockout fight. Of course, you still see a lot of that in the Bundesliga. Thorpe with a fly ball to center field. Reinhardt was deep, but he's positioned perfectly to put that one away. And Seidel has a 1-2-3 inning thanks to the double play. No runs. 1 hit, no errors, nobody left at the end of 3 complete. It is 1-0 Paderborn. This is game 3 of the Bundesliga Quarterfinals 2022, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. Moving to the top of the 4th inning, Tim Collins with you here on a just absolutely beautiful Sunday in July. This is summer as I remembered as a kid. You got a baseball game on, you got endless sun, you have long nights, and this is just perfect weather. And if you are a kid and you're watching this, remember these days, because they're going to mean more the older you get. It's a lot of fun. Baseball in summer, this is as good as it gets. Daniel Wolf throws the first pitch inside to Bjorn Reinhardt, the number 6 hitter. 6, 7, and 8, Reinhardt, Rammelmann, and Eberhardt against Daniel Wolf, who was shaky in the first inning but has pitched 2 relatively quiet innings, only allowing a hit last inning as a foul, and the count 1-1 on Reinhardt. Reinhardt flied out his first time. If you missed it last night, you should go back and watch the 8th inning of the second game of last night's doubleheader. There's a breaking ball outside, 2-1. It was an inning that ran the spectrum of excitement from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows for both teams, really. Sometimes in the span of only seconds. There's a swing and a foul tip into the mid of Thorpe, strike 2. And that's something that only baseball can really offer. Those, well, in my opinion, it's one of the best things about the sport of baseball. When you have a long, slow build-up to a climax and then you get a payoff like that, that is a really great baseball game. There's a swing and a fly ball sliced down the right field line, and Rosenthal dives, and he caught it. It was a fair ball. That was a wonderful play. You probably didn't see it because he went out of your picture. He went into a slide and caught it to his gloved side just before it hit the ground. And that was a wonderful play by Joe Rosenthal in right field. One away. Bjorn Reinhardt is the victim of defensive thievery. And yeah, you're not going to see it at all. My apologies. We still need to get a camera person here, and then you will have seen it. Luca Rammelmann will step up to the plate with 1 down. The pitch is a strike, and Rammelmann, by the way, grounded back to the pitcher his first time. 0-1. Rammelmann, a right-hand hitter with power, and he fouls away a breaking ball. 0-2. Wolf has mixed in the breaking ball a lot more since the first inning. That's a fastball too high, 1-2. That pitch that Remmelman, the previous that Remmelman had fouled away, was the breaking ball. And that's, you know, Will Thorpe is, of course, doing the pitch calling, but he and Daniel Wolf know each other for a long time. There's a swing and a foul at the plate. Count remains 1-2. You know, Wolf was one of the kids. Wolf was playing on the youth team back in 2017 when Ryan Bollinger was here, which is the last time these two teams played. And Bollinger and Thorpe have been grooming Daniel Wolf since that time. And, you know, the same thing happens in Paderborn with the academy, but that's one of the beautiful things about Bundesliga baseball. It's kind of like a giant family where you're watching your kids grow up. There's a pitch outside. I mean, in the case of Tom Wolf, the Vereins's president, it is literally his kid that we are watching grow up in the Bundesliga here. 2-2 the count. And the same can be said for the young players in Paderborn. This one is inside, and that one barely nicked the elbow of Remmelman, so he is hit by the pitch and will go to first base. Second hit batter, no, third hit batter, rather, of the game. That was a little fastball that just nicked him up and in. And so Eberhardt will step up to the plate with Remmelman on first and one away. The Disciples would love to turn a double play of their own. They've hit into two in this game. Patrice in the first inning, and then Thomas in the third inning. And the pitch on the way, outside and high. Ball one. One ball, no strikes. And that's too high to Eberhardt. Eberhardt struck out his first time. A fly ball to center field. Dinsky shades his eyes from the sun, camps under it, and he has it. That's out number two. And Ladislaus Landwehr, the designated hitter, will step up to the plate. Yeah, Rochen, I'm seeing your comment in the chat that you've got a camera. Actually, also the Mets and Yankees are playing. The Mets and Yankees Subway Series, that's always a good time. Going back to my days when I used to live in New York City, that is a citywide party. But if you have one of those little camcorders, the old Panasonics that has an HDMI out, I would totally buy it off you. You can email me through my website, and we'll get in touch that way. Ladislaus Landwehr takes a breaking ball outside, and that was a heck of a stab by Thorpe to keep Remmelman on first base. He would move up, obviously, if that goes to the backstop. Maybe I'll be traveling to Berlin at some point. 1-0 on Landwehr. Landwehr walked his first time. Remmelman a short lead off first, not going. The pitch, there's a strike on the outside corner. Daniel Wolf, 78 pitches. Breaking ball, and that was well placed, and you saw the weak swing by Landwehr reaching for it. Very defensive swing. One and two. Breaking ball got him swinging, and the inning is over. Another good one for Daniel Wolf. Pitching to the tune of 1 run on 1 hit through 4 innings in his first ever Bundesliga playoff start. Not bad for the youngster. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We are going to the bottom of the 4th inning here in Haar. It's game 3, and Paderborn leads 1-0. This is the 2022 Bundesliga quarterfinal, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So we move to the bottom of the fourth. It's a 1-0 game. This game picking up right where last night's nightcap left off. It's a tight one. It's the fourth inning. Florian Seidel has only allowed 3 hits and no runs. He's walked 1. And he will face 3, 4, and 5. Drew Thomas, Daniel Patrice, and David Dinsky. Thomas, the right-hand hitter. And the pitch to him from Seidel is outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Thomas singled his first time and then was immediately raced on a double play. Here's the 1-0. Drilled foul and deep. That's strike 1. That ball lands on the batting cage net, deep down the left field line. And again, you get to see center fielder Bjorn Reinhardt in your picture. This time he's on the left side. Before he was playing Thomas a little bit more to pull. Thomas, I think, broke his bat. And we'll see how sad he is about that. He just seemed to have walked over to the dugout to get a new one. And Thomas has found a new piece of lumber. So the count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Drew Thomas. Thomas, who joined the Disciples mid-season and has bolstered their offensive qualities. He's added a little bit more thump to this lineup. One ball and 1 strike the count to him. Fouled away, another good cut. That pitch was inside. And the count 1-2. Seidel only at 42 pitches. His high this year, I think, is 92, so he's good to go. And if he keeps putting zeros up on the board, he will be in there. This ball is popped up to the right side, shallow right field. Rammelman racing in and calling for it, a long run, but he gets there. And Thomas is out number 1. And that will bring up Daniel Patrice. Seidel is the type of pitcher who can be very frustrating for hitters because you see the velocity that he comes in there with, and you think you're going to get something good to hit, but everything has sort of been moving to the corners and dipping just enough to miss the barrel of the bat. The Disciples have had a couple of good swings, but they've either hit foul balls on them or just missed them. Patrice grounded into a double play his first time. And the fastball is inside, 1 ball and no strikes. That's a good pitch from Seidel. Patrice, you could see he was really looking for something out and over the plate. That's generally his game plan, but he can turn on the inside stuff, but that pitch, even though it wasn't a strike, served a good purpose. Set up that low changeup, but Seidel missed with it, so they count 2-0. Two balls, no strikes to Daniel Patrice. 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. That one's inside, 3-0. Patrice probably has a green light. And the strike is on the outside corner, 3-1 the count now. And there is a team of little kids looking for lost baseballs in the greenery behind me off to my right. They're going to come back with all sorts of bug bites and stuff. The 3-1, outside, ball 4. Patrice is aboard. That's the second walk issued by Seidel in this game. He's only got 1 strikeout in the game. He's been pitching to contact, but it has been weak contact. That'll bring up David Dinsky. Dinsky in this game singled and then was erased on a force out at second base. That single led off the 2nd inning. Right-hand hitter. You have Patrice on first base, he is not really a threat to run. He's just going to try to go station to station and be wise. And Dinsky looks at a pitch too low, ball 1. Well, Seidel has really been keeping the ball to the outer edges of the zone. He's been nibbling at the low part of the strike zone and on the outside corner. He has tried to avoid the middle, obviously. The Disciples just looking for a couple of pitches that they can drive. And the pitch fouled away. Dinsky got a pitch to hit. Looked like he was trying to go to right center field. That's generally his approach. There's a gap over there as the center fielder Reinhardt today is shading Dinsky a few steps towards left field. Yesterday they were playing him shaded to the right, if I remember correctly. One and one on Dinsky with Patrice at first. The pitch hit on one hop to the shortstop Byers. He goes to Llewellyn 1 on to first. Not in time. Dinsky beat it. Getting down the line. Ball was hit too slowly. It was very close at first, but it looked to the naked eye like he did indeed beat that. So he reaches on the fielder's choice, and there are 2 away. And Callum Murphy will step up to the plate. Murphy hit a liner to the shortstop Byers his first time. But Dinsky, again, being jammed on that pitch. You know, you're seeing a lot of jam shots and pop-ups off the end of the bat. The Disciples having trouble squaring one up against Florian Seidel. So that tells you that his pitches are moving and he's hitting his spots. Dinsky now, of course, with 2 outs. Again, he's a speedy runner on first base. Did not have really a good opportunity to go the last time he was on base, and Seidel didn't give him one there as he used the slide step to deliver ball 1 to Callum Murphy. Pitch was low and away. Murphy, right-handed hitter from Toronto area. Now a leg kick from Seidel. This pitch is inside, 2-0. Those are the little things that teams will try to do to stop the running game. The running game is still very much a huge part of the Bundesliga, not so much in the big leagues anymore, but here, absolutely. And Seidel varying his timing, varying his leg kick. And Murphy fights one off to shallow right field, dropping quickly, and now it's Rommelmann's turn to make his own great catch in right field. Rosenthal did that last inning, and Rommelmann returns the favor right now. This one he caught maybe about a foot off the ground as he belly flopped onto the grass, but it catches. It counts just the same. A nice catch in right field by Luca Rommelmann to end the inning and take away a base hit from Callum Murphy. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left at the end of 4 complete. Still 1-0. Paderborn in the lead. This is Game 3 of the Bundesliga quarterfinals, brought to you by the good people of the Brauerei Wildbräu. We are ready to go to the top of the fifth inning, and the Disciples have made a pitching change. Daniel Wolf did a great job in his playoff debut. 4 innings, 1 run on 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. He threw 80 pitches, 45 were strikes, and he's going to be relieved by the Finnish pitcher Konsta Kurikka. Kurikka, who got into 4 games this year with the Disciples, 3 rather, pitched 4 2/3 innings, had an ERA of 3.86. 4 hits, 2 runs, 5 walks, and 6 strikeouts. He's got a very live right arm, and he's going to deal with the top of the order, Maurice Bendrian. Bendrian, who makes it a point to step out of the box every time he comes to the plate. We'll start things. Bendrian, Llewellyn, and Bergman, 1, 2, 3 in the lineup against Kurikka. Hits him on the first pitch. And that's the second time. I mean, Bendrian has made, that's 0 effort to get out of the way of a ball. I mean, I know all players do it, but like I said, I'm not complaining that he does it. I'm just waiting for an umpire to actually call it. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the day when an umpire actually calls that. And you know that's exactly what Thorpe is saying. First pitch, hit him on the elbow pad. So Bendrian has been on base 2 out of 3 times via the hit pitch. And now Fildrick Llewellyn will step up to the plate. And Llewellyn shows bunt. The pitch is taken for a strike on the outside corner. Thorpe thinking about a back pick attempt. The Kurikka, who has been known to touch 90 miles an hour with his fastball in the past, was pitching in Spain earlier this year. And there's a fastball fouled away by Llewellyn, 0-2. And now he's getting into a playoff game here in Haar. He pitched several games for the second team as well. Joined the team, I'm going to say about a month and a half ago. Very talented right-hander. 0-2 to Fildrick Llewellyn, who is 0-for-2 with a strikeout and a flyout. Bendry now first. The pitch is high. After Llewellyn, it's Bergman. Fouled away again. Count still 1-2. That looked like a little slider, I think, from Kurikka. Not quite sure. Let's look at that on the replay, see if I remember correctly, or if my mind's eye is lying to me. Yes, indeed it was. It was not in a great spot, but Llewellyn fouled it away. Infield back looking for a double play. And that's high, 2-2. Kurikka is set. Bendrian off first, not going anywhere. The pitch is away, ball 3, 3-2. And that's been the point that the Disciples are hoping Kurikka can show some development. It's the more consistent throwing of strikes, which, you know, applies to many people in the Bundesliga. 3-2, the runner going. Swan, slow ground ball left side. Thomas looks at second and decides to take the play to first. 5-3 goes the put out. Bendrian moves up. And there's one away. And that will bring up Finn Bergman. Bergman, in today's game, is 0-for-1. He was hit by a pitch in the first and flied out after a long at-bat in which he broke his bat and hung his head in sorrow in honor of that broken bat after he returned to the dugout in the third inning. So he's 0-for-1, but he's also down a bat. Let's see how he does with the new one. I'm guessing it doesn't make that big of a difference. He's a very good hitter. Bendrian on second base. The pitch outside. Ball 1. One and 0 to Bergman. And now 2-0, twice with the off-speed pitch Kurika missing outside. Kurika formerly played the national game in Finland, Pesäpallo, which is a different version of baseball. It's a game that was invented by a Finnish who had visited the United States in the early 1900s and took the game back to Finland with him, but made a few changes, to say the least. The pitch is outside, 3-0. If you want to go down an interesting YouTube rabbit hole, Google Pesäpallo, the Finnish, or just Google Finnish baseball. You'll find it that way. Really interesting game. Looks very exciting. 3-0 on Bergman, who for sure has a green light. That's my guess, at least. He did, and he whiffs on it. 3-1. Paderborn scored a run in the first inning on heads-up base running by Bendrian. Bendrian is standing on second base right now, trying to dent home plate for the second time. Only 4 hits in the game between the two teams, 1 for Paderborn and 3 for the Disciples. The Disciples have hit into 2 double plays and nearly into another one. Kurika behind 3-1 to Finn Bergman. Line drive, right center field, base hit. Bendrian coming around third. He will score easily. Dinsky cuts the ball off in center field and gets it back into second base. It's an RBI single for Finn Bergman, and Paderborn takes a 2-0 lead. Wasn't hit all that hard, but he was able to fight it off into the outfield into right center over Callum Murphy's head. Fastball. And as soon as that ball landed, you knew Bendrian was going to be able to score easily. So Daniel Hintz now steps up to the plate with Paderborn having a 2-run lead. Top of the 5th inning. Yeah, give a shout out to Evan Rutsky watching. Wondering about the 3-0 hack. Well, if you saw Bergman's 2 home runs yesterday, you might know why he had a 3-0 green light. The pitch is a strike to Daniel Hintz. But Evan, hope you're doing well wherever you're watching from. Hintz is 1 for 1. He walked and singled. Bergman on first base. A very short lead. And now Kurika checks on him. He dives back. No balls and 1 strike to Daniel Hintz. And 2 now as Kurika paints the outside corner with a good fastball. Oh, and 2. Outside with a slider. Thorpe keeping the runner Bergman honest at first base by popping out of the crouch. 1-2 the count. There's only 1 away in the inning. And he got him waving at that slider outside for the second out. Take another look at this pitch from Konsta Kurika. Daniel Hintz going fishing and did not catch anything. So 2 down, and Chris Byers. Byers 0 for 1. He also has that sac fly back in the first inning that scored Bendrian from third. Right-hand hitter, Byers, I mentioned yesterday, he's a native of South Africa. And he looks at a strike on the outside corner. That looked like an off-speed pitch from Kurika. Good pitch from Konsta. One strike the count. There goes the runner. The pitch is popped up behind the plate. Thorpe can't find it. Will it stay in play? He throws the mask away, and he got it. That was not easy. First, you're dealing with the sun. Then you got to find the ball. Then you got to throw the mask away and make the play. And Thorpe did all of those things. Konsta Kurika gives up a run on 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 left on base. At the end of 4.5, we are exactly halfway through. It is 2-0 Paderborn here in Game 3. This is the Bundesliga quarterfinal, brought to you by the good people of the Brauerei Wildbräu. We are back for the bottom of the 5th inning. Paderborn tacked on another run in the top half, and they lead 2-0. Florian Seidel sitting pretty at 54 pitches, and he will deal with 7, 8, 9. Enzo Mushik, Francisco Riestra, and Joe Rosenthal, the bottom of the Haar Disciples order. They have managed 3 hits against Seidel, but nothing further beyond a couple of walks. And so Enzo Mushik, who is 0 for 1 with a flyout, going to try to get things started for the home team. And the pitch popped off the end of the bat to shallow right field. Rammelman is in and there and puts it away, 1 away. 1 pitch, 1 out. Riestra will now come to the plate. Rammelman, who made a nice catch to end the 4th inning, had a much easier time of it that time. Francisco Riestra reached on a fielder's choice his first time.
Auf geht's der Franz. Schau, das ist auch die Kunst auf der Base.
So Riestra coming up for his second look at the lefty Florian Seidel, and the pitch is high. 1 ball and no strikes. Just an absolute perfect day for a ball game here in Haar. Inside and low, 2 balls and no strikes. The beer gardens, I'm sure, are full, but this place is pretty full too. And it's, you know, a step in a different direction. There's a 2-0. That's outside, ball 3. Riestra would love to get on base ahead of Rosenthal. Rosenthal has probably one of the most solid hits against Seidel. He lined a single his first time. But Riestra first has to deal with a 3-0 pitch. Riestra will be taking here. And the pitch is a strike. 3-1. Fly ball, right center field. Reinhardt and Rammelman. It's Rammelman again. He's caught 3 consecutive fly balls out there going back to last inning. And there are 2 quick outs. Now Joseph Rosenthal will step up to the plate.
So, Francisco Riestra mit dem harten Schlag ins right field.
So Rosenthal, I mentioned, he lined a single
Numero 36, Joe
back in the 3rd inning.
Rosenthal.
That's the last hit the Disciples have had. They only have 3 in the game. And here comes Seidel's first pitch to him. Strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Seidel has a little smile on his face. So does Rosenthal. Don't know what they're laughing about, but clearly having a good time. Rosenthal and Murphy are the players in the Haar Disciples lineup that probably know this team the best. They played both of them in the Bundesliga North last year as Rosenthal swings over the top of that off-speed pitch. It's behind 0-2. Smile is now gone from Rosenthal's face. Not from Zeidel's, though. 0-2. And here it comes. And a backdoor curve got him looking. And the Disciples go 1-2-3 against Florian Seidel. Let's watch this one again. This is reminiscent of the strikeout to Nate Thomas to start the game. Rosenthal thinks he was framed. We will go to the 6th inning here in Haar. Paderborn with a 2-0 lead in Game 3 of the Bundesliga 2022 quarterfinal. We'll be right back. It's brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So we will move to the top of the 6th inning, 2-0 Paderborn. The Disciples have gone to the bullpen again, and it's the young right-hander Adriano Penskover will take over for Konsta Kurika, who gave up 1 run on 1 hit with 1 strikeout in his 1 inning of work. Daniel Wolf started. He went 4, gave up only 1 run, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. He was excellent. Kurika, as I mentioned, the 1 run. It's a close game, and you can't ask for more from your pitching if you're Alex Tuft and the Disciples fans. So Penskover, who has an ERA of 5.27 in 13 2/3 innings, will come in. But he had a really big outing this year where he went 5 2/3 against the Heideköpfe, only giving up 1 run. And that was the moment he really became a Bundesliga pitcher, at least as far as we were thinking here from the Haar fans' side. Seeing Penskover along with Daniel Wolf going back several years. These are the guys that have been getting cups of coffee in the Bundesliga, and here they are in the 3rd game of a playoff series. And a check swing called a strike as Bjarne Reinhardt went around on that first delivery from Penskover. 0-1 the count. 6, 7, and 8, Reinhardt, Rammelmann, and Eberhardt in the order for Paderborn. They scored a run in the 1st and a run in the 5th. That is it, the pitch. Strike on the inside corner, 0-2. Penskover is kind of the right-handed version of Florian Seidel. He throws everything but the kitchen sink. Actually, he throws everything including the kitchen sink. Nothing really comes in straight. He's got a funky delivery from the right side. He hides the ball. And he struck out Reinhardt on 3 pitches. Good curveball. And a good beginning for Adriano Penskover. Watch this one again on the replay. Very weak hack from Reinhardt, who is now 0-3. And now Luca Rammelmann, 0-1 with a hit batter, will step up to the plate. Rammelmann made a nice catch in right field. This ball game has really been all about the pitching. And the double plays turned by Paderborn. Swinging a foul tip. That's 4 consecutive strikes thrown by Penskover. Rammelmann bounced back to the pitcher in the 2nd and then was hit in the 4th. Oh, 0-1 to him. Penskover working from the stretch exclusively, like most pitchers do nowadays. Fouled away, 0-2. And The kids are running after it down into the youth field. Who's going to get it? Well, the kid who started running first is going to get it by about 10 meters. 0-2 on Rammelmann. Just missed the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was a little cut fastball, I think it was. It was actually tailing away from Rammelmann. 1-2. A weak ground ball slowly hit to the right side, charged by Callum Murphy. He underhands it to first, and they got him. Rammelmann is out 4-3, 2 down. And that'll bring up Ian Eberhardt. That was not an easy play. It was so slowly hit, it probably wasn't going to reach Murphy. So he had to charge it, and he gloved it and then decided to sort of underhand it with his bare hand to Patrice, who, with the long stretch, was able to easily get Rammelmann for the second out. So now Ian Eberhardt, the number 9 hitter, he is 0 for 2 today. And the pitch from Penskover. Strike called. Penskover, when he is being effective, which I mentioned, you know, he was very effective against Heidenheim, one of the best offensive teams in the Bundesliga in that one day. It's when he's throwing all his pitches for strikes, but his pitches, he's got such a wide variety of looks and types of movement. He's got a curveball that breaks down and away. His fastball tails in on the hands. And he sort of throws everything like that. That one just missed. Little breaking ball, and the hitter, I've seen a lot of hitters in the Bundesliga take very confused swings against Penskover. Here's the 2-1. Slowly hit to the left side. It stays down on Riestra and goes under his glove into left field. Probably going to be a base hit. It hit the edge of the grass and just failed to bounce up anymore. So we'll see how that's scored. It's a base hit indeed, as I suspected it would be. Riestra was looking like he was expecting a big bounce, and boy, this infield this year, the bounces have been anything but what you'd expect. It's been baking in the sun all summer. It's dry, it's hard, and it's become a little bit uneven. And so that's a base hit, but you can chalk that one up to the lumpy infield. So now Ladislaus Landwehr with 2 outs and Eberhardt on first base. Swings and misses at a disappearing breaking ball from Penskover, and the count 0-1. Two outs. Fouled away, 0-2. Penskover is really pumping strikes. Got to make you happy if you're Alex Tufts or Disciples fans. The pitching of Florian Seidel on the Paderborn side has held the Disciples offense at bay. And we're getting into the later innings, 6th inning right now. Paderborn with a 2-0 lead. They've had the lead since the top of the first when they scored a run. 0-2 on Ladislaus Landwehr. And a balk was called as Penskover did not come to a complete stop. So that pitch does not count. And Eberhardt gets to go. You watch Penskover, yeah, he did not really come to a stop. Very, very slight hesitation, but you got to be careful with runners on base. That was called by Alex Hartl, the second base umpire. So the count is still 0-2 on Landwehr. Now a runner is in scoring position. That could be big. Eberhardt is the runner. Not great speed out there, but little loping line drive over the pitcher, fielded by Riestra. He throws to first in time. It was close, but Riestra made the play. And the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left at the end of 5.5. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning here in Haar. Paderborn 2, Haar nothing, game 3. Again, the tension starting to mount as we move to the later innings. Don't touch that dial. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Florian Seidel, halfway through a shutout here. He's only allowed 3 hits on 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 63 pitches. And he's still throwing his final warm-up tosses. The Disciples will send the top of the order: Nate Sean Thomas, William Thorpe, and Drew Thomas. Here in the 6th. Nate is 0 for 2. He's grounded into a double play and struck out looking. As the Disciples have managed only 3 hits. A single by Drew Thomas in the 1st, a single by Dinsky in the 2nd, and a single by Rosenthal in the 3rd. That has been it. So the Disciples fans looking for some energy here on the bases. Paderborn has played stellar defense so far today, and Florian Seidel has given them a lot to do by pitching to contact. So let's see what Nate Thomas can do to start things. This is his 3rd look at Florian Seidel. The 3rd baseman, Bergman, is playing at the edge of the grass, half expecting a bunt. And Seidel, from the full windup deals, curveball, missed low ball. Nope, it's in there for a strike. Excuse me. Strike 1 on Nate Thomas. Seidel has been hitting the corners. The 0-1. That one floats outside. That little sidearm slurvy curveball. 1-1 the count.
Let's go, Disciples. Vámonos.
1-1 the count to Nate Thomas, leading off the 6th. That's way outside. Ball 2, 2-1. A little slurve that he starts way outside. He's been given a couple calls on the outside corner. As long as it's consistent, that's what you're looking for. 2-1 from Seidel to Thomas, batting right-handed. Outside, ball 3, tried the fastball that time. And he does not like the call. He turns around and walks behind the mound. 3-1.
Let's go, Nate.
I'm not going to show you the replay because he's about to throw the 3-1 pitch. And I don't want to miss it. Outside, ball 4. The Disciples have a leadoff base runner, as Thomas will saunter on to first base. Will Thorpe will step up to the plate. Thorpe representing the tying run. Thorpe in today's game so far has walked and flied to center field. This is his 3rd plate appearance against the left-hander Seidel. And this is his 1st time coming to plate with a runner on base ahead of him. Thorpe has been very clutch for the Disciples in the past years. There you see Bjarne Reinhardt again blocking our view. Let's switch to this angle, and the pitch is a strike. See, this time I was ready for it. Now the problem is you got the pole in the way, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Oh and 1 on Thorpe. Thomas at first base. Oh and 2, that one catching the outside corner. And the count is 0 and 2. Yep, just checking to see if he's still there. He is. Long hold by Seidel, the leg kick, the pitch. Ground ball down the line, foul. Thorpe again out in front.
Auf geht's, Leute. Auf geht's, Will.
Still 0 and 2. Nobody out. Bottom of the 6th inning, game 3. The series tied at 1, best of 5. It will continue next weekend in Paderborn. Thomas leading off first. The 0-2 pitch coming to Thorpe right now. There he goes. The pitch, a little floating pop-up. This is going to be caught by Bergman. Thomas has to race back, and he dives in safely. So Thorpe pops out for out number 1. The Disciples try to hit and run, and again, weak contact off of Seidel. Let's watch the replay. But it was a good read by Thomas, who was able to get back quickly. He has to slam on the brakes and dive back in before Bergman can think about throwing back over there. So Drew Thomas now
Drew Thomas.
will step up to the plate, representing the tying run, of course. Paderborn scored a run in the first and a run in the fifth, and that's been the extent of their offense. Both teams with 3 hits. And that's inside from Zeidel for ball 1. Thomas is 1 for 2 with a single. Outside, ball 2. Bjorn Reinhardt right in the middle of everything. There's no way I can make that camera go higher, sadly, because of the layout of the field. 2-0. A ground ball chopped on one big bounce to Bergman, on to second for 1. The relay to first. There's another double play. 5-4-3. That's the third one the Disciples have hit into, and it's starting to get frustrating for them, I'm sure. Well played and perfectly placed as far as the Paderborn defense is concerned. They've been tailor-made double plays. So Thomas grounds into 1. And the 5-4-3 ends the inning. We go to the 7th inning. It is still 2-0 Paderborn. This is Game 3 of the 2022 Bundesliga quarterfinal, brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. On the mound for the Haar Disciples is the former Paderborn Untouchable, the left-hander Sean Cowan. Cowan, who is actually a police officer in the area around here, lefty, and he has been in spot activity for the Disciples this year. ERA of 4.5 in 8 innings pitched. He never went more than 2 innings, and he was Jekyll and Hyde. Sometimes he was on it, sometimes he lacked his command, and the Disciples are turning to him. You figure Tufts' plan is to use Cowan for this inning, and then he would give Luke Steinlein innings 7, 8, 9. Steinlein, of course, is one of the longest tenured Disciples. And Cowan and Paderborn, of course, know each other, former teammates. And the little lefty on the mound is going to deal with the top of the order, Maurice Bendrian, Fildrik Llewellyn, and Finn Bergman. So Daniel Wolf went 4. He was excellent. Allowed 1 run. Kudeker went 1 inning, allowed a run. Adriano Penskover, a scoreless inning. And now Sean Cowan, as the Disciples are giving all the youngsters a taste of Bundesliga play, baseball playoff play. And the first pitch to Bendrian is low and outside for a ball. Bendrian was hit by a pitch twice in this game and then flied out. And his run in the first inning was a hustle tag-up play on a foul pop-up with the bases loaded. 1-0 the count to him. And now 1-1 as Cowan finds the zone on the second one. Bendrian steps out for a moment and gets back in. 1 ball, 1 strike. And now it's 1-2. Cowan hits the outside corner. But yesterday's game started at 1:15, and the first game ended at 5:15 or something like this. It was a 4-hour game. Today, here we are in the 7th inning, and we started exactly 2 hours ago, just to give you an idea of how different one baseball game can be from another. This game has been all about the pitching and the quick defense. 3 double plays turned by Paderborn. Curveball, soft line drive into left field over Riestra's head, a base hit for Bendrian. He's taking the turn as Drew Thomas fires it back in, and Bendrian is aboard with a single. Looked like a breaking ball from Cowan, and Bendrian was jammed on it but was able to float it over Riestra's head. So he's aboard to start things, and now Fildrik Llewellyn will stand in the box. Paderborn with a 2-0 lead, but it's starting to get late. We're in the final third of the game. This game in the top of the 7th, and the pitch, Llewellyn shows bunt, takes a pitch inside for a ball. Llewellyn looks down at Medina, coaching down the third base line. And a pop-up, that's foul out of play off to the right. 1 ball and 1 strike. Paderborn left 2 base runners on in the first. They left 1 in each of the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. They have a leadoff base runner here. So they have had some base runners, but generally speaking, not more than 1 per inning. Llewellyn bunts it to the right side, fielded by Cowan, who throws to first in time. Bendrian moves up a base. So the sacrifice is out number 1. And that will bring up Finn Bergman. Bergman has been hit by a pitch, flat out, and singled to drive home a run. That was the second Untouchables run in the 5th inning. And he now gets to bat against the left-hander, Sean Cowan. There you see Bendrian on second base. And Thorpe's going to go through a series of signs for Cowan. And a strike on the first one to Bergman. 0-1. There's the 0-1. Line drive center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Bendrian around third. He's going to score again. Finn Bergman with another RBI single, and Paderborn leads 3-0. Bergman now 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Again, not hit hard off the end of the bat. And it falls in. Daniel Hintz now steps up to the plate with 1 out and a runner at first base. And the pitch is low from Cowan. Hintz is 1 for 2. He's walked, singled, and struck out. Bergman, by the way, as Cowan delivered that last pitch, was actually headed back towards first base. And then Cowan was sort of digging at the hole on the mound, the landing spot, after he released it. And now he does check on Bergman with a little lollipop toss over there. Just a beautiful sunsplash day. You hear the wind, but it's a pleasant breeze. It actually kind of cools you off on a hot day. The pitch Fly ball, deep left field. Thomas going back. He gives it a look. That ball is out of here. 2-run home run for Hintz, and Paderborn now leads 5-0. Daniel Hintz, the 35-year-old veteran of Paderborn, has left the building. And they have a commanding 4-0 lead here. Pitch down the middle, and he just dropped the bat head on it. So Paderborn now leading 4-0 in this game. There's only one out, and the hitter is Chris Byers. And the pitch to Byers is swung on and fouled away. Byers is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Popped up right side. Patrice looking for it in foul ground. He's got a beat on it and puts it away. That's out number 2. So the Disciples are going to have to catch up a lot farther than they would like to now if they're going to win this game. First, they're going to have to figure out how to get a hit off of Florian Zeidel. There's no activity in the Paderborn bullpen, so I assume Zeidel's going to come back out there for the bottom of the 7th. Bjarne Reinhardt now the hitter, 0 for 3. And he looks at a strike at the knees. Well, Sean Cowan, of course, no stranger. He knows the guys in Paderborn. He knows the team. He knows Daniel Hintz. The Paderborn treating him rudely, their old friend. Scoring 2 runs here. Fouled away 0-2. Excuse me, scoring 3 runs. They lead 5-0. I think I might have said 4-0 before. It's 5-0. And the pitch, curve is high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Finn Bergman has 2 RBI singles in this game. Daniel Hintz, the knockout blow for now, the 2-run shot. There's a ground ball to the right side. Murphy to his left fields it and throws to first to end the inning. But it was a good one for Paderborn. They played 3 runs on 3 hits. No errors and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Time to stretch here in Haar. It's 5-0 Paderborn. This is the 2022 Bundesliga quarterfinal, brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Disciples living through a disastrous top of the 7th inning. Paderborn, they're now 9 outs away from taking a 2-1 lead in this best-of-5 series, which has been odd from the beginning because of the scheduling. It is very strange to have 3 games in the span of 2 days in the Bundesliga. Both teams have managed that very well. We've seen good pitching. We've not seen any of those games that seem to self-destruct as they go later into the game. Both of these teams have a pretty good depth of pitching, and Florian Seidel has spared his manager, Jedrick Spear, from having to even think about it, as he's been cruising. 75 pitches, 3 hits allowed, only 2 walks, and he's going to deal with 4, 5, and 6. Patrice takes a ball. Daniel Patrice, David Dinsky, Callum Murphy. And I tell you, if Florian Seidel keeps pitching like this, he can pitch till he's about 50. He doesn't throw hard at all. Doesn't look like he's under a lot of stress. And he's throwing strikes, and so far the Disciples have not been able to hit it. The pitch is inside, 2-0. The Disciples had a base runner in the first, and then the inning was ended by a double play. They had a base runner in the second. Could not advance a double play in the third. Here's the 2-0 to Patrice. Outside corner. 2-1. Outside. In the fourth inning, the Disciples had a walk. And in the sixth inning, they also hit into double play. That's been about it. There's a fly ball to right field, slicing right to Rammelman. He's there. And he puts it away. There have been a bunch of fly balls to Rammelman in right field today, too. Let me count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fly balls to the right fielder. One of those 6 was a nice catch. The rest were very routine. So Dinsky will come up after Patrice flies out. Dinsky has singled and reached on a fielder's choice, 1 for 2. Strike on the inside corner. And a ground ball slowly hit left side. Fair ball for Bergman. On the run, the throw, not in time. Oh, yes it is. Dinsky looked like he had it beat, but he's called out at first base. And so that's out number 2. I'm a lot further away than the umpire is, so I just don't ever expect Dinsky to be thrown out on a ground ball that slowly hit. So you be the judge. 2 away. And it's official, literally everything. And now Tufts is giving Ilyard Khan his money's worth. He is angry about that call at first base, trying to fire up his team. Literally everything in this game has gone Paderborn's way. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't have. It's just the frustration, of course, building up in Alex Tufts. The Disciples, every ball they've put into play has been right at the fielder. Every fly ball has gone directly into the glove of an outfielder. Every close pitch has been called against them, so they think. And I'm not saying that any of those are wrong. I'm just saying when it seems that way, the frustration builds. And Tufts right there got his money's worth. And he was ejected from the game, which means, I believe, actually, he cannot be part of the game 4, if I remember correctly. When you get ejected in the Bundesliga, you're also suspended for the next game. So Tufts is out of the game. Tim Williford is going to be head coach the rest of the game. He'll take over coach in third. So there are 2 down, and Callum Murphy is at the plate. But Paderborn is having a good day. Let's put it that way. That pitch called a ball. Murphy is 0 for 2. And he lines that down the left field line, just foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. This is, I believe, Florian Seidel's longest outing as of this moment. Looking at his statistics in the Bundesliga North as he deals outside. Seidel has gone as far as 6 1/3. That was against the Cologne Cardinals back on May 14th. So here we are, 6 2/3. This is his longest outing. And the pitch popped foul back here, and the count 1-2. Seidel taking his time on the mound. Scoreboard says 2-2. I thought it was 1-2, but maybe not. I think it is 2. Now it's 3-2. There was a pitch in there that I had missed, I believe. Full count on Murphy. Bottom of the 7th inning. 2 down. And that's ball 4. Murphy draws the walk. And he will take first base. And Mušik will step to the plate, the DH, with 2 down. Paderborn with 5 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Haar with no runs, 3 hits, 1 error. Mušik is 0 for 2. He's flied out to right field twice. And he takes a pitch inside for ball 1. Want to know on Mušik, the Disciples trying to reverse what has been a very frustrating day so far. There's a strike, 1-1. It has been a walk in the park in every possible way for Paderborn. They have gotten nice bounces on ground ball double plays. They've gotten bloop singles to drive in runs, and that's very frustrating for the Disciples. So the fans here in Haar trying to rain down some energy on Enzo Mušik. There's a strike on the outside corner, and the count now 1-2.
Let's go, 3-2, auf geht's, Disciples family. Make some noise. We need more energy, let's go.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Mušik. Great job, by the way, by the stadium announcers, Jeremy Hart and Richard Posguy. This is one of the biggest crowds I've seen in this park all year, and they're doing a great job trying to fire up the team. Meanwhile, time is called on the plate. Callum Murphy at first base. 1-2 on Mušik. Mušik looking for a base hit here. The Disciples looking for something good that they can point to that might indicate a breakthrough. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Florian Seidel, with his longest outing of the year, has pitched 7 shutout innings. And we will go to the 8th inning. It is 5-0 Paderborn. This is Game 3 of the Bundesliga 2022 quarterfinal, brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. We go to the top of the 8th inning here in Haar. And Luke Steinlein has come on. Is not the desired scorer for when he comes into the game, as the Disciples were hoping that Sean Cowan would be able to throw a 0 up there in the 7th. Unfortunately, he allowed 3 runs, and Steinlein now is coming in with a 5-0 deficit that he would like to hold in place. ERA of 2.73 in 29 2/3 innings this year. And he's been with the Disciples, I think, for 14 seasons, former Firth Pirate. And he's been around the league. He knows everybody in Paderborn. He knows everybody in the north. They know each other. Like I said, the Bundesliga is a big, if not sometimes quarreling family. Everybody knows each other. You got the same villains, the same heroes on both sides. One year it might be this guy. The next year it might be that guy. But you just kind of know that every year you're going to get another chance. And Steinlein is going to try to hold things as they are. 5-0 Paderborn. They have 5 runs on 6 hits. The Disciples 0 runs on 3 hits. They have been able to do nothing against Florian Zeidel, who has just been throwing dead fish up there all day. Steinlein is going to deal with 7, 8, and 9. Rammelmann, Eberhardt, and Ladislaus Landwehr. Rammelmann in this game is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch. And the first pitch from Steinlein. Curve is high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. I see your question, Rochen. Is there a way to stop a game when the batter's box is barely visible anymore? The answer to that, I think, is you wouldn't. I mean, you could, I guess, get the grounds crew to come out and reapply it. Here on the field, the right-hand batter's box is basically gone. There's a ground ball to short. Riesta to his left fields and throws to get Rammelmann for out number 1. You see the batter's box there on the left side is almost completely worn away, but, you know, they redo them in between games, but it's not really much of a reason to do that. The batter's box, it's usually only going to happen if you see a hitter that is one of the types of hitters that really abuses the whole batter's box thing. I think, that reminds me, I think there was something to do with this back in 2017, back when Paderborn and Haar played each other. Popped up off of the bat of Eberhardt. Patrice gives it a look and finds it out of the sun and makes a casual catch off in foul territory. 3 pitches and 2 outs for Steinlein. Now that you mentioned the batter's box thing, I vaguely remember something about a spat between the Disciples and Untouchables. I can't remember exactly what it was or even who it involved, but it involved somebody who was batting, maybe Jose Palacios, with 1 foot out of the batter's box. There's a foul off to the right, off the bat of Ladislaus Landwehr. Obviously, the hitter has to have both feet in the batter's box, but it's an appeal play, I think. So the opposing team has to notice it. The umpire might notice it, but does not have to call it. And then if you have, you know, players that are starting to abuse that, then you're going to get somebody to call time, and they're going to bring the grounds crew out and rebuild the batter's box. There's a failed bunt attempt for strike 2 off the bat of Ladislaus Landwehr. I believe it's an appeal play. I might be wrong about that, but I think it's an appeal play. Somebody correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Oh and 2 on the number 9 hitter, who was 0 for 2 with a walk, Ladislaus Landwehr. And strike 3. Steinlein with a blink of the eye, retires the side in the 8th. Nothing across the board. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's getting late here in Haar. 5-0 Paderborn. The Disciples coming to bat. This is the Game 3 of the 2022 Bundesliga quarterfinal, brought to you by Wildbräu Brauerei. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Florian Seidel is at 91 pitches. He's allowed no runs on 3 hits. He's walked 4 and struck out 3. But the story has just been the fact that every ball the Disciples have been able to put in play has been directly at one of the Paderborn fielders. The only really nice play I can think of is that catch in right field by Remmelman. A lot of weak ground balls, a lot of little pop-ups. Remmelman himself has made, I think, 6 putouts in right field. And so the Disciples have a lot of work to do if they're going to come back in this one. 8-9-1, Riestra, Rosenthal, and Nate-Sean Thomas. And Seidel picks right up where he left off, throwing strike 1. The Disciples have had a base runner in every inning except for the 5th. But they've been able to do nothing with it. They've hit into 3 double plays. There's a foul, 0-2. Last inning, Alex Tufts got tossed from the game after arguing a close play at first base. And the Disciples, who have been frustrated offensively, it's frustrating enough when you can't square up the ball. There's a backdoor curve that's outside, 1-2. And then when Tufts saw some close plays, he just had to go out there and argue, try to fire up the team. He was ejected. So Tim Williford is doing the coaching duties now. Ground ball slowly hit to the right side. Llewellyn surrounds it, throws to first, and his throw is away. And Riestra turns, and he will head to second base. That's an E4. Riestra with a big turn at second. I think it might have been a base hit anyway. It's going to be a base hit and an error. Riestra had it beat, but then goes to second on the E4. And so his hustle pays off. The Disciples get their 4th hit. That's the first error for Paderborn. Llewellyn probably should have just held on to that one. And so Joseph Rosenthal now. The Disciples finally have a base runner at second base. That has only happened once in this, twice in this game. It happened in the 1st inning and it happened in the 3rd inning, and that has been it. They have not had a runner past first base since then. So fans trying to get things going. 5-0 Paderborn, bottom of the 8th inning. Only 6 outs left for the Disciples. Rosenthal is 1 for 2. He has a hard single, and then he was called out on strikes. Still no activity in the bullpen. He squares and bunts it foul. But bunting, when you're down by 5, not sure what the point of that is. You need base runners. I guess the 3rd baseman is back, making he's looking, maybe he was bunting for a hit, but he squared relatively early on that one. Well, no, maybe he was trying to lay it down for a hit. I would hope that that's what he was trying to do, because the sacrifice doesn't get you anything here. The runner's already in scoring position. And, actually looking at the positioning of Bergman, that probably is what Rosenthal was doing. So I should apologize for my initial reaction to that. If you can bunt for a hit, I mean, the left side of the infield is back. Rosenthal is speedy. Riestra does not have to go from second. 0-1 the count, the pitch. 0-2 as he waves over a breaking ball that probably didn't break the 60-mile-an-hour benchmark. This is the type of stuff Seidel has been doing to the hitters all day. Oh, 0-2. Line drive right to Bergman. And again, a hard hit ball right at one of the defenders. That's the way it's been going all day for the Disciples. That's out number 1. Sometimes the cookie crumbles that way, I guess. Rosenthal got a hittable pitch and lined it right at Finn Bergman, the 3rd baseman. So now Nate Thomas will step up to the plate for the 4th time. He has walked, struck out, and hit into a double play. The Disciples running out of outs. They have 5 left with which to work. Riestra led off the inning with a single, went to second on the throwing error. Thomas fouls that back. Strike 1. 0-1 to Nate-Sean Thomas. And the curveball. That curveball has been called a strike consistently. It starts outside and then just barely gets back to tip the outside corner. That's a pitch that only Florian Seidel can throw because he throws from the left side from that low arm angle. And it's been called a strike almost every time by Jens Weider. And now time. Nothing in 2. Is that cotton candy that I smell? Oh, the ballpark is just there's no better place to be than the ballpark on a day like this. 0-2 to Nate-Sean Thomas. And he lines it into left center field, a base hit. Riestra will be waved around third, and he will score. Thomas racing to second, he dives in, he is safe. RBI double, the Disciples are on the board, it's 5-1. Well, let's watch this pitch on the replay. It was an 0-2 pitch and it was right down the pipe. And finally the Disciples find some grass with the ball put in play. And the shutout is no more. Thomas now replaces Riestra in scoring position, and Bjarne Reinhardt replaces Seidel in your picture, so I'm going to go to the other camera angle. Will Thorpe will step up to the plate. Thorpe looking for another big hit. He got one yesterday, but then Dinsky was thrown out at home. Thorpe 0 for 2 today with a walk. And time. Well, you got to give Reinhardt consistency. He's playing Thorpe exactly the same way every time, standing in the exact same spot in the outfield. Crowd trying to get into it. Here's the pitch to Thorpe. And there's that little breaking ball in for a strike, 0-1 to Will. Will walked in the first inning, flied to center in the third, and popped to third, that little infield pop, in the 6th inning. There you see Nate Thomas on second base in your screen. Inside, ball 1.
Auf geht's, Disciples. We need some more action. Let's go.
Nate Thomas on second base, 5-1 the score. That's outside and low, 2-1. There is activity now in the Paderborn bullpen. I can't see who's throwing, but it's a right-hander, which does not tell you anything because I believe all the rest of their pitchers are right-handers. 2-1 to Will Thorpe as Seidel has his sign from Bendrian. Thomas leading off second base. 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Inside, almost nicked Thorpe. And the count 3-1. Drew Thomas is on deck.
Come on, Willy boy, get it!
Let's go, Will. Auf geht's.
Go, Will!
This is the most raucous crowd I've ever heard at a ball game in Haar. It should be like this every time. I love it. 3-1. Hard hit ground ball at the middle, base hit into center field. Thomas around third being waved home. He will score without a throw. 5-2 on the RBI single by Will Thorpe.
RBI time in Haar, München. Welcome home, Nate-Sean Thomas. Great hit by Will Thorpe into the gap.
Let's watch the replay. Will not trying to do too much, just hit it hard back from whence it came. No chance for the shortstop Byers to get there. You knew Thomas was going to be able to score. The ball had barely reached the center fielder Reinhardt by the time Thomas was crossing home plate. And so it is a 5-2 ball game. And boy, how huge were those 3 runs for Paderborn in the top of the 7th inning. Drew Thomas now stepping up to the plate. Thomas 1 for 3. He singled, flied to right, and bounced into a double play. Seidel still out there. Now he's over 100 pitches.
Come on, Drew!
Drew Thomas with power, the pitch. High and outside, ball 1. Daniel Patrice is on deck. Well, if the Disciples If you were going to ask me which part of the lineup would be the most likely to induce a comeback of 5 runs or more, this is the part of the lineup. Thorpe off first, the 1-0. Popped up, left side. The shortstop Byers calling for it. He's under it, and that's out number 2. Jammed on the pitch, and that will bring up Daniel Patrice.
Das war das erste Ausgefangen vom Shortstop. Nächster Schlagmann wird jetzt sein mit der 30 auf dem Rücken. Unser First Baseman Daniel Patrice.
Well, Seidel is not through the 8th inning yet. Daniel Patrice grounded into a double play, walked, and flied out. Thorpe off first base. He will not be going anywhere. The pitch drilled down the line. That's yanked foul. Strike 1 to Patrice. Of all the games I've seen Patrice play this year, I would say today is the one that he's looked the most frustrated in. It's almost predictable. Every single game I've seen him play, he's at least driven one deep fly ball somewhere to the outfield, really squared one up. Today, he has not really done that. First time all year I can remember that happening. So tip your cap to Seidel. That's fouled away, and Patrice now quickly behind 0-2.
Come on, Daniel!
Patrice takes a little walk around the backside of the batter's area. Thorpe leading off first base. The Disciples still a couple of big hits away from really getting close in this game. But Patrice certainly capable of getting one of those. 0-2 the pitch. High. 1-2. What a game by Florian Seidel, regardless of what happens here. This is his longest outing of the year, the highest pitch count he's had, and without question, his best pitching performance of the year. Who knows, maybe in his career. I have not followed what he's done in previous years in the North. And the pitch, driven to the gap in left center field. He squared this one up. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Thorpe being waved around third. He's coming to the plate. Here's the relay throw from Byers, not made. There's your RBI double for Daniel Patrice, and it's a 2-run game, 5-3.
Daniel Patrice mit einem Stand-Up-Double weit geschlagen ins Outfield. Wilfrock zu Hause, jawohl, so schaut
Well, I had told you it happens at least once a game, and there it was. The pitch was out over the plate, and he just sort of flicks the wrists after it. That long, lanky, powerful swing, and he drove it to the gap between Reinhardt and Eberhardt, and that's going to draw a mound visit. Jendrik Speer, I think, has gone to the bullpen. We are going to see the Paderborn closer, I believe. Florian Seidel, a fantastic performance for the 23-year-old left-hander. I believe his day is done. Jendrik Speer has shaken his hand, and he's taking the ball. What a job by the young left-hander. It is a 5-3 game. The Disciples are going to bring the tying run to the plate. It's David Dinsky. And suddenly this one is another nail-biter, just like last night, just like it should be. So the Disciples have a chance with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Dinsky coming to the plate. We'll be right back after a little bit of a break. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, brought to you by the Brauerei Wildbräu. So the closer is on for Paderborn. That is the right-hander Ben Taki. He who had a 1.72 ERA in 15 2/3 innings in the Bundesliga North. He was used exclusively in relief. His longest outings, 3 1/3 innings against Berlin, but that doesn't matter here. His job is to get the final 4 outs and preserve this lead. It was 5-0, and now it's 5-3. You have Daniel Patrice standing on second base. Looked like he was having a few friendly words with Eberhardt, or no, that was Byers, the shortstop that Patrice was talking to. These guys all know each other, and sometimes it gets a little hot between the lines, but, you know, it's a big family in Germany of baseball, like a big, crazy family of baseball. And Ben Taki is going to deal with David Dinsky. Dinsky representing the tying run. And Dinsky, one of those guys, he swings very hard. And you know right here, he's going to look for a pitch that he can drive out of the ballpark and tie this game. And to the commenter in the chat, holy moly, what a game. Yes, holy moly, what a series of games it's been. The first 2 were exciting, and this one is creeping up on us. 5-3 Paderborn, 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. David Dinsky, who is 1 for 3 today against Ben Taki. Patrice off second base, the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that was the cut that I told you he was going to take. And it was a good pitch. Taki just went right after him, said, here it is, hit it, and Dinsky did not. Watch this swing. That's called going for the downs. Dinsky's going to do that at least once more in this at-bat. 0-1. Fly ball foul out of play, and Taki quickly gets ahead 0-2. If Dinsky can reach, Murphy would be the next hitter. The Disciples don't need a home run. They're not a home running hitting team. They string together a lot of hits. Everyone in this lineup is capable of getting a base hit. So Dinsky now with 2 strikes, probably going to try to just get a base hit, drive home Patrice, and make it even closer. There's the 0-2. Fly ball, right field, Rommelmann, a long run into foul ground. Does he have room up against the fence? He caught it. It went out of my view. I could not see it. He was right up against the fence. Rommelmann has now made 2 very good plays of his 7 that he's caught in right field. That was not an easy one. So Dinsky flies out, and we're going to go to the 9th inning, and it's a 2-run game. The 2022 Bundesliga quarterfinal brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. So we are in the top of the 9th inning. And Luke Steinlein, who threw, I believe, 6 pitches in the 8th inning, is going to deal with the top of the order, Bendrian, Llewellyn, and Bergman. And right now, 5-3 the score. It looked like Paderborn was going to run away with it, but suddenly the Disciples scrambled and put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the 8th inning. And now Maurice Bendrian, who has been hit twice by pitches and singled, he scored 3 runs. And he looks at a pitch too low from Steinlein, ball 1. For the Disciples, it was Daniel Wolf for 4 innings. Konsta Kurika for 1. Adriano Penskover for 1, and then Sean Cowan for 1. As Steinlein paints the corner with a strike. And the difference in the game, the 2-run home run off the bat of Daniel Hintz. At the time, it made the lead 5-0 for Paderborn. The Disciples had been frustrated all game by Florian Zeidel, the left-hander. They finally got to him in the 8th and got him out of the game as that pitch is low, 2-1 on Bendrian. Two and 1. And that's high, 3-1. Steinlein pitched a scoreless 8th inning, a ground ball, a fly out, and a strikeout. Bendrian has been on base 3 times out of 4 plate appearances today. And he's only made a couple of outs in the 3 games so far. I think twice he's been retired. Once he reached on a fielder's choice. 3-1 to him, and that's ball 4. 4th time getting on base for Maurice. And that'll bring up Fildrik Llewellyn. Llewellyn is 0 for 3 with a sacrifice. Bendrian may try to take off here. He was 4 out of 5 in the stolen base department during the regular season. As Steinlein would absolutely not want to give up another run here after the Disciples were able to scratch their way back, and Steinlein tossing it over. Nearly catching Bendrian mid-stride. Llewellyn, right-hand hitter with power at the plate. Disciples looking for a ground ball to turn 2. And that ball hit in the air to left field down the line, and it is a foul ball, just barely, off the end of the bat. You can see that it was hooking. It's a strike for Llewellyn, 0-1. Well, everybody's still in the ballpark. Nobody is left, as you would expect for a close game like this. It was close until the 7th when Paderborn opened up a 5-0 lead, but then the Disciples, an inning later, have made it a 2-run game again. 5-6-1 for Paderborn. 3-7-1 for the Disciples. 0-1 on Llewellyn with Bendrian off first base, a very short lead. He's not going, and the pitch is swung on and grounded foul for strike 2 on a breaking ball. Steinlein ahead of Fildrik Llewellyn. In the first inning, Bendrian scored when he tagged up on a foul pop-up down the right field line to score. And until the 5th inning, that was the only run of the game. Paderborn then scored again. Finn Bergman with an RBI single. Bergman replicated that in the 7th, and then Hintz hit a 2-run home run for the 4th and 5th runs. Llewellyn stays alive, fighting off that backdoor breaking ball. The Disciples have been just playing catch-up this entire game. They felt frustrated by Zeidel because he was nipping the corners, he was painting on the edges, he was doing a little bit Tom Glavine, actually, which is that art form where the pitcher basically expands the outside corner of the strike zone with each successive pitch. 0-2 on Llewellyn. Fastball is high. 1-2 now. But the Disciples finally got some hits that found grass in the bottom of the 8th. One and two to Fildrick Llewellyn with Bendrian off first base. Here it comes. Fly ball right field towards the line. Rosenthal racing over into foul ground, and he slides, and the ball is off his glove. He did not catch it. Bendrian was tagging up again. That ball, I think, landed just beyond the bullpen mound, and Rosenthal is dusting himself off after retrieving it. Would have been a sensational catch had he made it. It was also a good thing he did not get injured on that play. So the count's still 1-2. Disciples looking for a double play, something that Paderborn has turned 3 of in this game. And a nice hand for Rosenthal, who is back in position in right field after that mild collision with the fence along the foul line. One ball and 2 strikes. Ground ball slowly hit to short. Riestra goes to second. They get the force there. Murphy lost the ball. There was a hard slide at second by Bendrian. But the out, of course, was recorded. And Llewellyn grounds into a force out. There's one away.
Jetzt die 13, Finn Bergmann am Schlag.
And Finn Bergman now steps up to the plate. Llewellyn at first base. He was catching his breath after running out that ground ball. Now he's back on the bag. Bergman has 2 hits and 2 RBIs in this game. And he lines another one up the middle, a cue shot into center field, another floater. That's the 3rd one of that style Bergman has had today. And Hintz will come up to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Hintz, who is 2 for 3, and his 2-run home run, the 4th and 5th runs for Paderborn. Hintz walked in the 1st inning, singled in the 3rd, and popped out in the 5th before homering in the 7th. So Steinlein in a jam now. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. Llewellyn and Bergman, the base runners. There you see Llewellyn, number 8, centered in your picture. He will move when the pitch is thrown. There Steinlein comes set, and the pitch to Hintz. That's paint, strike 1. Steinlein checking the signs. Out in front, strike 2, foul ball. As Hintz nearly spun himself into the ground, waving at that one. So the count 0-2 on Daniel. 5-3 Paderborn, trying to break the tie. It's a best-of-5 series. Game 4 will be next weekend in Paderborn. And if Game 5 is necessary, so will that. Oh, 2 to Hintz. Popped up on the infield. Infield fly rule has been called, and Patrice makes the catch for out number 2. And now Chris Byers will step up to the plate. Byers, who had the big hit in the nightcap last night, hitting a big 2-run home run in the 8th inning. And he's going to come up with 2 on here in the top of the 9th. The Disciples, looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, they will have 6, 7, and 8. Murphy, Mushik, and Riestra. You wonder if maybe you might see Simon Lechner as a pinch hitter. for Mushik in that DH spot, just to get the lefty bat in there against Taki. You never know. At any rate, here is Chris Byers, 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. There go the runners, the pitch taken. Throw to third, and it's off Thomas's glove. Looked like they had him dead to rights, but Thomas dropped the ball, so that'll be a stolen base for Llewellyn. Bergman stayed put at first. Pitch was called a strike. It is 0-1. As you see, Llewellyn taking off on first move. The throw was there. Thomas went to bring the glove down to get the tag, and the ball was not in it. But it did not get too far away, so there was no advance by the trail runner, Bergman. First and third now. 2 down, 1 strike to count to Byers, who has popped out 3 times, and 4 if you count the sac fly. Steinlein coming set, 0-1. Here it is. In the dirt. Nice pick by Thorpe. He backhanded that one. That's a little risky. If that gets away, Llewellyn could come home and score. Boy, another run would just be huge for Paderborn here and demoralizing for Haar. 1-1. And another good block by Thorpe, 2-1. Steinlein really spiked that one. This time Thorpe using the whole body, of course, to block that ball. Taking no chances on a pitch that bounces that far in front of the plate. That one was in the lefty batter's box. 2-1 on Byers. Steinlein trying to keep it where it is to send it to the bottom of the 9th. And the pitch. Breaking ball missed, ball 3. The on-deck hitter is Bjarne Reinhardt. Steinlein maybe is just being extra careful with Byers, does not want to leave something out over the plate. Reinhardt, much less power in the on-deck spot. But you're playing with fire if you pitch around a guy to load the bases when the open base is second base. But playing with fire is Luke Steinlein's middle name. 3-1 on Chris Byers. Here it comes. A broken bat roller to Riestra at short. He bobbles, can't find the handle. Everybody's safe and a run scores. That's an E6. And Paderborn leads 6-3. And another broken bat for Paderborn. No RBI on that play. Llewellyn scores. And Riestra looked like he wanted to one-handed and throw it on the run quickly. And that infield, which takes all kinds of strange bounces, the ball came up on him and handcuffed him. And it rolled up his arm and over his back, and that was it. So in E6, Paderborn leads 6-3 as the run scores. And Bjarne Reinhardt now bats with 2 on. The Disciples with their second error of the game. And Reinhardt looks at a breaking ball low and outside, 1-0. And so now the Disciples need to score 3 to tie. In the bottom of the 9th, at least as it stands now, Paderborn still with a chance to get more runs. Reinhardt standing in. Long look at second. Fouled off the mask of Thorpe. And I believe that also got a piece of Jens Weider. 1-1 on Reinhardt. Reinhardt is 0 for 4. He has flied to right twice, struck out and grounded out. One ball and 1 strike to Bjarne Reinhardt. It's not Bjorn, it's Bjarne. Bergman and Byers are the base runners. The pitch, fly ball, center field, Dinsky, and actually it's on the infield, and Murphy falls down as he nearly lost in the sun. Makes the catch. He's helped up by Rosenthal, the right fielder. And the inning's over, but Paderborn scores an unearned run. And it's a huge one, an insurance run. They got no hits in that. Excuse me, they got one hit that inning. There was one big error, 2 left on base. We are going to the bottom of the 9th inning. Do or die for the Disciples here. Trying to come back in game 2. Paderborn trying to go ahead 2-1 in this best-of-5 series. 6-3 Paderborn. We'll be right back with the bottom of the 9th inning. This is the 2022 Bundesliga quarterfinal, brought to you by Brauerei Wildbräu. It is time for the bottom of the 9th inning here in Game 3. And if you watched yesterday's games, you know that it ain't over till it's over. It's going to come down to the final pitch. And we'll see how much drama there is awaiting us here in the bottom of the 9th inning, if any at all. I suppose even if you're rooting for Paderborn, you're hoping that they can get those 3 outs quickly and painlessly. But baseball has a way of never going according to plan, and that's the way things have gone for the Disciples. Paderborn, a run in the 1st, a run in the 5th, 3 in the 7th, 1 in the 9th. They have 6 runs on 7 hits and 1 error. The Disciples have 3 runs. They scored all of those last inning, and now Callum Murphy looks at strike 1 from Ben Taki. Taki came on and retired David Dinsky, representing the tying run with 2 outs in the 8th inning. It'll be 6, 7, and 8. That one bounces up there, 1 ball and 1 strike. Murphy has seen Taki before, Murphy having played for Hamburg last year in the Bundesliga North. So at the very least, we know there's no mystery there. The Disciples also have seen Taki, but it was, again, back in 2017. The pitch, that's outside, ball 2. After Murphy, the DH spot is due up, and Simon Lechner has a bat. So he will pinch hit for Mushik. 2-1 on Murphy, trying to get on base, starting things here in the 9th. Little pop fly, shallow center field. Llewellyn going out, coming in Reinhardt, and it drops off the glove of Remmelman, and Murphy is aboard. That's a base hit. This time Remmelman, who pounds the ground in frustration, could not make the play. He had made 7 plays this game, 2 of which were really nice, and he was oh so close to making a 3rd, but it went off his glove, and Murphy is aboard with a leadoff single, to the delight of the home crowd. Watch this again. He was jammed on the pitch. Watch Remmelman coming from your right. He was the closest one to it, and he nearly made another sensational catch. So the Disciples have the tying run coming to the plate. Simon Lechner will be the hitter.
Simon Lechner.
Lechner played in the 2nd game yesterday and was 0 for 4. He had reached on a hit batter. Left-hand hitter. He does have some power. And that breathed life into the crowd. The pitch, fly ball center field. Reinhardt coming in. He's got a beat on this one, and he makes the catch. 1 away. Lechner was jammed on that pitch, I believe. So now Riestra will step up to the plate. A ground ball double play could end the game for Paderborn. They've turned 3 already in this game. The Disciples With Riestra and Rosenthal, not really home run hitters, so you're not looking for a home run. They're looking for somebody to keep the line moving. And the fans have been into this one. Francisco Riestra, 1 for 3. He singled and eventually scored the first of the 3 Disciples runs in the 8th inning, last inning. He led off that inning. He squares to bunt, pulls it back. The pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Obviously bunting for a hit. Bergman is back at third. 6-3 Paderborn. And a flare out of play. Taki pounding the zone with strikes.
Auf geht's weiter, Leute. Weiter, 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 weiter. Immer weiter.
6-3 Paderborn leading. Disciples need one more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. I think I misspoke earlier when Lechner came up. And the pitch outside with a breaking ball. 1-2 the count. Ben Taki trying to close it out for Florian Seidel, who pitched 7 2/3 innings. Gave up 7 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. The pitch, ground ball slowly hit to the shortstop Byers. He goes to second. There's one on to first, and the throw goes into the dugout. So the force out at second is out number 2, but the error on the throw by Llewellyn puts Riestra on second base. So he reaches on E4. Well, he reaches on the fielder's choice and goes to second on the E4. That's the second error for Paderborn, and the Disciples are down to their final out in this one. Ball too slowly hit. You knew there was no chance for double play on that. But Joe Rosenthal will come up to the plate. Rosenthal had a base hit in 3 trips, and also his last at bat he lined out. That was actually in the 8th inning. He hit a ball very hard, and it was right at Finn Bergman, the third baseman. So Rosenthal has hit the ball hard 2 out of 3 times today. Joe is the last hope for the Disciples here in Game 3. Former Cologne Cardinal. You see Riestra, number 44, standing on second base. And Taki trying to get that final out for Paderborn. And the pitch to Riestra. Missed high and inside, ball 1. Rosenthal desperately trying to get on base. Nate Thomas is the on-deck hitter. He would be batting left-handed, representing the tying run. That's his better power side. But we got to get that far first if you're a Disciples fan. 1-0 to Joe. Line drive, base hit left field. Riestra being waved around, and there will be no throw. And it's a 2-run game again. An RBI single for Joseph Rosenthal. It is 6-4, and the Disciples will indeed bring the tying run to the plate in the person of Nate Thomas.
Joe Rosenthal mit dem Base Hit hier und RBI time.
Riestra scored easily. Of course, with 2 outs, you got to be absolutely sure, but Eberhardt wisely throwing the ball to second base to prevent Rosenthal from getting into scoring position. So 2 outs in the 9th inning, the tying run at the plate, Nate Sean Thomas. Thomas this year had 1 home run on the season, but over the years he's hit a bunch. I'm going to say around 9 or so in his time with the Disciples, and his power side is the left side. This is his first look at Nate Ben Taki, the pitch. A ground ball up the middle, that's into center field, a base hit. Riestra will stop at second base, and the Disciples have the tying runs on base. And the winning run will come to the plate in Will Thorpe. First pitch swinging, and Thomas keeps the excitement of the crowd alive. A lot of the fans are on their feet. They are beginning to scream. And this is going to draw a mound visit. Matt Kemp is slowly walking out to the mound. I think that's Matt Kemp. It's hard to tell. He's got the jacket on, so I can't see his jersey number. And he's going to have a chat with Ben Taki out on the mound. So the Disciples, down to their last out, refuse to go easily. A meeting on the mound. We got Bendrian. First and second, and I should point out, by the way, Rosenthal and Thomas, blazing speed. If Thorpe finds a gap, this game could be tied. And again, this ball game building to a crescendo, just like yesterday, just like it should be. Playoff baseball, 6-4 Paderborn leading, trying to take a 2-1 lead. It's a best-of-5 series, so nothing is decided today, but boy, these last few games have been real nail-biters and excellent entertainment for the crowds that have been here, and they've been big crowds. Biggest I've ever seen in Haar since I've been doing this. So Will Thorpe, the heart and soul of the Haar disciples, one of the leaders of the team, the man who never uses batting gloves, is going to step up representing the winning run. Two of his speedy teammates representing the tying runs on first and second, Rosenthal and Thomas. And so it's Taki against Thorpe with 2 outs in the ninth. Here we go. Breaking ball is too high for a ball. Taki thought he might have gotten a call, and Jens Weider shook his head. 1-0. That was a little get me over breaking ball. That was almost batting practice worthy. 1-0. That one is in there at the knees. 1-1. 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Boy, those tack-on runs by Paderborn. Fans of both teams are chewing their fingernails off right now. Here's the 1-1 pitch coming to Thorpe, and instead, Taki fakes towards second. There is a big hole on the right side. This time, Reinhardt is playing Thorpe to pull. He's not blocking your view from center field. There you see him moving over. 1-1. Swing and a miss. He went to a changeup, and Thorpe was way out in front. That's a good pitch from Ben Taki. You know what Thorpe is trying to do, and sometimes you know a hitter is trying to hit hard. Instead of trying to throw it harder, you take something off, and you can really foul up the timing of the hitter. Now Reinhardt is blocking your view. 1-2. Here comes the pitch. Popped up on the infield, playable. Byers is underneath it. He calls for it. He's got it, and Paderborn wins 6-4. And they take a 2-1 lead in this best-of-5 series. And it came down to the final pitch, just like I said it would. I mean, of course, technically it always does. But the intrigue came down to the final pitch. And this series will continue next weekend in Paderborn. I will not be there. Paderborn, as far as I know, does not have a broadcast. But I am not free to travel there. So feel free to email them and see if they can get something going for you. It's been a fun 2 days here in Haar. 3 hard-fought games. The Disciples won the first game, and then Paderborn winning the final 2. And there has not been any love lost between these two teams. There is not going to be a ceremonial high five in the middle of the field. Those are just the little things that you pick up on as the game goes along. So that'll be for you all to follow as the series continues next weekend in Paderborn. My name's Tim Collins. I've had a blast calling these games for you. I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. Please hit the thumbs up button on the YouTube thing. You know, it's really hard for me to look at a video of myself talking while I'm going to switch away to the other camera. I hope you've enjoyed these broadcasts. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for interacting with me on the chat. And we wish you a pleasant conclusion to your weekend on this beautiful Sunday in Haar. Thanks for tuning in. Final score, Paderborn 6, Haar 4. Oh, and I almost forgot. It was brought to you by the good people of, say it with me, everybody, Brauerei Wildbräu.